Somebody knows I got that kung fu. Split a bitch in half with the corner of my shoe. I got that chop, uppercuts to the butts, I'm impossible to stop. You know I throw those kicks, but my secret weapon is my kung fu dick. I got that kung fu dick, kung fu dick. I'll be swinging that shit. Oh yeah, fuck yeah. Flip kick with this dick, get it up like a bitch with my kung fu dick. Oh yeah, yeah. I slap that shit like I'm E-Honda. My fighting stance is an anaconda. I rain the pain with the main drain, to maim and shame like I'm Luke Kane. You think you're tough, but you ain't got shit. Now kneel down before my kung fu dick. Ah yeah, the way of the dick. I got that kung fu dick, kung fu dick. I'll be swinging that shit. Oh yeah, fuck yeah. Flip kick with this dick, get it up like a bitch with my kung fu dick. Oh yeah, yeah. Kung fu dick. Oh yeah, yeah. Kung fu dick. Oh shit. Oh shit. He comes from the ocean like a hurricane, sets the ground in motion, bitch, you gonna feel the pain. He swings that pimp hand and knocks bitch city down. He's the monster king of pimps and he doesn't fuck around. He's Pimzilla and he wants his motherfucking money. Money, money. He's Pimzilla. Yeah, yeah, motherfucker. Wall Street was a greedy bitch. They kept Pimzilla's cash. And he's come time to collect every dime from that sweet ass. He laid his tail down to block that bitch ass path, and cut slap like a cyclone with hellfire pimp hand aftermath. Oh yeah, he's Pimzilla and he wants his motherfucking money, money, money. He's Pimzilla. Oh yeah, yeah, motherfucker. Call the Coast Guard, they call the Navy, they call the Army, and some smooth bitch named Gravy. Then sailor through fire like a powerful high. Then Wall Street expired like a squirrel hits a tide. But the people thought he was heaven sent as he digested the world's 1%. Oh yeah, yeah, motherfucker. He's Pimzilla and he wants his motherfucking money, money, money. He's Pimzilla. Oh yeah, yeah, motherfucker. He's Pimzilla and he wants his motherfucking money, money, money. He's Pimzilla. Oh yeah, yeah, motherfucker.
And he wants his motherfucking money. What's up, chat? Friday night here on After Content, the newest show created by a canceled show because a big YouTuber didn't want to do it anymore. But that's why we're here. What's going on, everybody? Josh Pescator here. Pescator Live, coming at you live. Pescatore. What is going on, chat? Let's see who's up in the chat. Nugs, my homie. What's going down, Captain? What's happening? Jason Long. Deep Cleavage, what's happening? Yeah, the Pimpzilla. I don't know Atomic Wax. That's who does these two songs. I did try to contact him, and I let him know that I would, I'm using his music on stream, and I hope he doesn't copyright strike me or anything. But I really like it. This is from a different artist. I'll have it linked in the chat. What's going on, Death Blister? What's up, Coleman Black? Exodus 2017. Anon what's cracking? Mr. Doodles, that's a good name. Stay Tacular, what's cracking? Oh, Rec 1990, homie. There is definitely a pescator down here. Hopefully, I'm not going to be as fired up as I was yesterday. I was more, let's just say, animated over Anus, aka Anne Marie Laytonville. Today, I'm a little bit more neutral because it's more about business when I'm talking about Gundam. And earlier, someone had said, hey, I don't know you, Josh. This was a tweet. It's like, I don't know you, Josh. In fact, I'll just pull it up. It said, I don't know you. I didn't know anything going on by Drama Alert. I didn't know Keem or anything like that. I really hate that you're in this situation. Here we go. This one, let me take this down and present. Trying to get it set up. All right. This gentleman right here, Sir Johnny, Real Johnny 13. All this makes me sad for you and Gundam. I don't know shit about you. I don't do Drama Alert or Keemstar, but I still feel for you. I also feel sad for Gundam for all this shit in his personal online life. I'm watching, but I won't feel good about it. And that's kind of how I felt too. So I replied, I said, trust me, it was like seeing or hearing who he really was and how he really did business. It was like finding out that Batman likes to be financially dominated, Fendom. And that's where I got the idea of the thumbnail, having that lady walking Gundam like on a leash. Because ever since I started started doing the stream with him, I've really noticed how much he bent over for women. And especially like the ones in his vicinity. But it also extended to like ex-girlfriends and stuff like that. So it kind of weirded me out at first, but it was the anus thing that ultimately really fucked this entire thing up. Let me read this last one. It makes me sad. People panic and make bad decisions. It doesn't make me think that he's a bad guy. Just make bad decisions because of pressure. I'm going to be watching. And he's right. He was under pressure to make a decision. His decision was to fuck me over and not even give me, basic respect or the audience basic respect of explaining to them what had happened, what is going on. So that's why I did the first stream on this channel. Number one, saying rip quality content, what happened? Because it was supposed to be me talking to the audience or whoever was left from the audience. Let's get really real. Telling them exactly what happened with the show. Because I looked at the analytics every show. I know that the people that came to that show donated close to about $50,000. And it had amazing views for a live show on the VOD side. To give you an example, like I'm pretty sure that Locale Live had their viral show when they had Boogie on there. So let's see how many views they have on the VOD after the fact. Because that's something that's really hard to do. Okay, this was Boogie Fake Cancer for 2 years stream. This was the one. All right. This was their top end. This is their best show that they've ever done. Right here was the one that Boogie Fakes Cancer. All right. It's a huge show. So everybody on the internet's talking about it. It was trending, Look at the views. 134,000. Okay. That's less than the second Kirsha show that we did. So right here, Kaiser saying, I'll go ahead and answer this one. Wasn't Gundam mad that they didn't choose him for FMT, but he has no problem showing up on it right now. Yeah, he was mad that they picked Chrissy Mayer and the sword guy, Shadiversity, to have as regulars. But in the way I understood it was Gundam was invited, has like a standing invitation. He can go there whenever. I didn't know if he wanted to be paid. I didn't know what he wanted to be as a host. Did he want to be there every Friday and not get paid? Did he want to get paid? There's this DM that I'll show you a little bit later on that says, that's him saying something to the effect of like, I wanted to be on FMT, but now I got my own show making my own money, so I don't care. But it was like he flipped back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So I'll show y'all here, because I made my bones with, just showing the DMs. Because at first I was like, I don't want to show the DMs because of this conversation, because then other people will be like, I'll never trust Josh. But then yesterday when Aina started up with all her bullshit, all her fucking lies, provable lies. I mean, I was on stream all day yesterday reading our DM, everything that I've ever said to that woman, and there was no making fun of her dad. There was no shit about the art. It only showed me asking how much the art was. Let me give you money for the art. Oh, it's free art, free art, free art. It's a free art scam, right? We already covered that yesterday. So I don't want to go back into her, because she only plays a little part in this, and it's the dominatrix of Gundam, because he really bends over backwards for this woman that is contracted by DB Productions. I don't know when she started, but our relationship started at the beginning of this year with the entire show. So, and he knows that he's got a problem with her. I mean, I'm going to pull up a couple of DMs where he's like, I need to get a new artist. I need to get a new artist, because he knows that she could do exactly what she did to me to him, and there's nothing that he could do about it. Not at all. Nugs. Yeah, his commentary content is a snooze fest. Who y'all talking about? Only watch Shad for the sword and blade stuff. Yeah, I don't know the dude. I mean, all power to him. I hope everybody on that show does great. I don't have what he has, which is more of an envy, bitterness kind of attitude to this. Mine's more of a competitive spirit where, I want everyone to make money, everyone to do well. I'm competing against y'all, but I don't wish y'all ill. Like, fuck y'all. I don't want y'all to make any money. This is, YouTube pays this shit. It's not like a job. We're not going and clocking into work. So I don't understand sometimes why he was so envious of other people or shows or whatever, just about stats. They have 1 million subs. I want 1 million subs. He's got this. I want that. It's a lot of that. And I mean, it's frustrating to me when I am the one helping do this show from the very beginning, like the prep, everything. Y'all heard the ones that listen, the people that listened to the stream yesterday heard me deal with Anus on a business level, on a business call. And it was just basically like, yeah, this video is a little bit too long. We need to trim 6 seconds here. I don't know if we should do the intro here. It's just all straight up business. So, yeah, Little Peach, I've done so many streams. She copy struck my first 4 streams because art that she gave me when I was working at DB Productions, I commissioned some art. I said, hey, I want a skeleton done, but I want my name on it because I need something to put whenever I'm streaming. And that's all I said. And then tell me how much that this asset will be. And then we go back and forth. We say, oh, what do you want here? What do you want there? Design here, elements there. She sends it to me and I'm like, oh, cool. How much do you want? Let me know the price. She never lets me know the price. She never lets me know restrictions, anything. That happens in like mid-March. And I use that asset all the way through working at on the show. And then once we had the falling out, I disconnected all the art that they had, that was their art. I assumed incorrectly, I assumed that this art was mine, but I don't have a contract or anything I pull up, and she's a sneaky bitch, and that's what she did in order to silence me about talking how quality content ended. Because, yeah, the Skelly was a loner. There we go. There's somebody that was here yesterday. She called it loner art. First, it was stolen art. Then it's loner art. I don't know what it's going to be today. Leased art, IOU art. I don't understand any of this bullshit. All I wanted was a picture. That's all I wanted, chat. Just draw me a picture so I can put it on right here in the middle of the fucking screen. That's it. But, I guess that was too hard for that stupid ass. So anyway, she hits me with the copyright claims. Now I've got a copyright strike. All 4 of my streams were taken down. This is like a couple 10,000, 20,000 views, many thousands of hours of watch time. And it totally torpedoed my monetization application. So the only way you can donate to this show right now is the Streamlabs link, which is at the top of the chat. And I want to go ahead and right before I get into all of these DMs and we get into what we're going to do acknowledge some of the people that donated last night that I did not say their message because I'm an idiot and I run a half-ass stream. But I assure you the only reason why I had to do this is because I needed to tell everyone really quick, and having to wait for assets for weeks and weeks and weeks. If I was to tell you all this story a month down the road, no one would give a shit. It's just how it is. So let me read out some of these chats. In fact, we got one tonight. Thank you so much. We'll just go ahead and do this as a one-to-one thing. Share the Streamlabs. Danny the DK, why won't you counter the copyright strikes? Winning counter will allow you to get monetized. The reason why is because if I counter these strikes, then I open up myself to a legal proceeding. Okay? That's like me saying, if you want to continue this, if you really want to fight this, me talking to Anus now, if you really want to fight this, then you, Anus, have to go to a judge and you have to file a lawsuit, and then you have to put it on me, and then we take this outside of YouTube and we deal with this in the court of law, federal court of law, because we live in 2 different states, and I think she's Canadian. So that's one route, all right? Now, if I appeal, I'm opening the door. So I can't close it and say, no, I don't want to do it after that, because she has the right to do it. And she's crazy enough that she probably would do it. Now, do I think I would win? There's a really good chance. The legal representation that I talked to 2 days ago said there's a fair good chance. I give it about 70%, 75%. He said there's a lot of gray area in here. And, the biggest issue is she's going to say that she drew this and gave it to you to use at DB Productions, not in your own personal stream. Now, she didn't say to use it, not to use it. She didn't set any of those restrictions. So it's just a gray area. But when you have gray areas, you have to do a lot of fighting in court to establish facts. And I mean, it's not just snapping the finger, establish facts. We go sentence by sentence for many months and get it correct. All right. It's good odds. Yes, it is good odds. But the kind of money that I would have to spend in order to retain that kind of representation starts out at about 15 grand, probably, maybe 10. If I use the same firm that I use, my terrorist lawsuits, the ones against the FARC and Chiquita, if I use them, I'd probably get a break, but I'll still have to foot the bill on it. And if I lose, I'll foot the bill on her side too, right? So what am I fighting for? I'm fighting for a free picture of a fucking skeleton made by a woman that I absolutely hate. Yes, Sarah, maybe I can get a loner lawyer Maybe they can loan me out a fucking attorney. Yeah, super waste of money. Super waste of money. So I gotta hold the L. You know, I'm I'm man enough to admit when this is a no-win situation. It's a, what do they call it? The Kobayashi Maru on Star Trek, unwinnable situation. It's like, or a Pyrrhic victory. Like even if I go to the mattresses and we just burn it down, you know, I use my vast capital wealth to fund this lawsuit. We just take it all the way, you know, appeals court, Supreme Court, the whole thing is like, at the end of the day, what am I going to win if I invest all that money and all that time and all that effort? But to win a picture of a skeleton from a woman I hate. So I'm good. Okay. I'm good. After I had made vented my frustration with the entire thing yesterday, it's like I moved on. It sucks that I can't have that stream up for public viewing because I thought it was really good. It was like 4.5 hours of a solo stream. Yeah, get Rakita to represent me. Hell yeah. What's his rate per hour? It's like an 8 ball an hour. Just tell him to get back to me. It's like, if I only need like 30 minutes to represent me, is that like a couple lines? Boba the Fat, you know it. You know it. I'm not Gundam. I don't forget shit. Okay, next question. From Claritic, was at work, didn't have time to make to make an ID with the boss watching. Don't have a lot to throw, but still wanted to make it clear I'm not some bot or some shit. I appreciate it, Claritic. I really do. And like I said, anyone that ever donates to me, you know, I don't understand why, but I appreciate it. And every dollar that people donate goes back into this show. In fact, this money right here is going to be going to pay the artist that made the thumbnails. So it's a good circle of life. $5. Wait, no. King's Astronaut with the $1. This is a loaner tip. I'll revoke said tip after the last solar eclipse in a few hundred millennia. Bet. Just get a hold of my people. I might be sleeping. Claritic with another $5. Hey, Pesk, here's a little from me to help the channel. I'm a painter that was hoping if you had any business wisdom to give someone who is just starting. Sorry if this ruined any momentum. No, not at all. Now, I don't know if you're talking about YouTube, like getting started on YouTube. I got to protect my voice tonight, too. Getting started on YouTube, really, it's all about finding your niche. Because nowadays, you just can't go, I'm going to make a prank channel. I'm going to do this, that, and the other. It's finding your niche. And if you want to know a technical tip, audio is most important. Don't worry about video. If you want to be on video, just get a webcam. But audio is very important. And to have a quality audio setup for nowadays for streaming, it'll probably cost you at least like $400 or $500. Because we're talking about mic arm, SM7B, cables, interface, cloud lifter. Or if you want to spend a couple extra $100 more and simplify the entire equation, Rodecaster Duo, mic and arm. That's it. That's what I'm using right now. And I've been through every audio interface known to man because it's very hard for my voice to sound good on stream. But this has been the best that I've used. Last one, $10. I've had your shoes, bro. Wish you the best from one to another. I appreciate that. Thank you. And I'll check that out. If you send a tip, I don't have notifications up just quite yet. So just let me know in chat. And I promise I'll get to it. Okay. I want to start. I'm going to start here. This is about the middle of April. And this is going to be when we're discussing about getting Mr. Medicare on the stream. Now, I didn't know. But Gundam has a special beef, I guess you could say, with Medicare. I'm about to show y'all. I think it's a little weird, but the Gator that I'm talking about in this screenshot is Gator Gamer, the VTuber, and this is a horrible way to look at this. There we go. I wish I could make this fucking thing bigger. All right. Yeah, I guess we'll have to go there. Go do it like that. It's a Gundam. Gator wanted to know if you want to be a guest on his Anime Boomers podcast. I'd ask if he asked Medicare, I'd ask you. He's a who? Talking about Gator, the gamer. He said y'all used to know each other, so I'm drawing a blank. What happened to check in with me if I want someone on? Now, he's saying that he wanted me to check in every time I asked if someone wanted to come on, or if I was just like, hey, would you be interested maybe in coming on in the future? Not like this week, but in the future. He was really, really upset if I didn't stick to his people, but he didn't really tell me the people he wanted. I said, I figured Medicare was a long shot. And he's like, I'm not one to beg for anything. I've tried to contact him in the past with no replies, so I won't be going after him. And I said, who's begging? Because I'm like, just asking. Medicare tends to talk to who he feels. I'm like, cool. Does that mean he'll come and talk to, come see us? Because at this point, I'm like, I don't get what you're doing here, And this is like a few weeks after things started to turn, because that's when I met Anus in March. And we're going to play, right after I show this, we're going to play the audio because she tries to extort me right around this time. So next, this is like a 3-part set. I say, okay, does that mean he'll come to us? I'm down with whoever, bro, but you don't want me to reach out to people? I was like, because I don't understand why you think that's begging. And said, did you already ask him to be on the show? And he didn't respond. And he says, I tried speaking to this dude a few times, even offered to work on a kit for him. No reply. I took the hint. I wouldn't ask him to do anything again. So at this point, I'm like, fuck this. I don't want to deal with, this cherry pick gatekeeping guest shit. So I'm like, how about you book the guest from now on? Because I don't know these beefs that you have with people. That way you just get the guest you want. And he's like, if you hit me up first, I would have told you. Even though this entire time, like, how would y'all, one's in the chat, if you would have loved to have seen Mr. Medicare and Gundam on a stream together. Or twos if you think that would have just been bullshit and no one would have ever tuned in. So we got one, couple ones. Yeah, Nugs got it right up here. Seems like takes asking anyone who perceives as some sort of enemy and begging. That's exactly right. That's one of the reasons why I had to read out super chats. Because he doesn't like talking about money. Because he knows how fucking bad he is with it. I don't want to reach out to people that you hate or hate you. I don't hate him. I took the hint. When people don't want to deal with you, they ignore you. He ignored every attempt I made. I took the hint. Doesn't Jim have cancer? And I mean, I know Gundam's, a big YouTuber, but I've seen his effort. It's not a lot. It's maybe like once, twice. That's it. And then he takes it as a personal slight, which is very DSP. Y'all will see a lot of parallels to DSP in these messages. So, okay, is that the end of this one? Yeah, that's the end of that one. Let's go to the last part. I don't really feel good about doing this, but I mean, I am so fucking tired of being called a liar or people besmirching my character or my business savvy or even my reputation in business in this area, in this space. Okay, so I say, does that mean he'll come to us? And he says, I tried speaking to the dude a few times. I wouldn't ask him. Okay, how about you book the guest? Oh, here we go. You just have to hit me up first. You contacted a guy and offered to ask me to be on his show if he talked to Medicare as far as it needs to go. Now, if I don't do a show, I look like a dick. We could get Az to talk about his love of Asian women and large breasts. I kind of wanted Almighty Tevin, but that would be tough. Spoiler alert, I got Almighty Tevin a couple weeks later. Steve-O has to be on Hard Times. Get the chick who beat the simp, dying for attention, maybe a fast interview. I'll ask about her sex life. Has she ever given the dude pink eye from farting on his nose? Pippa Pipkin is cool with me, so blah, blah. So this is like the end of this situation. But I ended up saying after this, I'm like, I didn't promise you out to a show like a fucking rag doll. I was like, all I'm doing is relaying a message from Gator. That's it. I said, I don't know if you'll do it or not. And I mean, and what happened to the lady that went on Gator's stream today or yesterday, I don't know if many people are going to be going on there. We can talk about that later if y'all want to, but that's kind of a fucked up story. But yeah, but Gator had nothing to do with this. He had just relaying a message, you know, and then immediately Gundam's like all offensive and woe is me, you know, he slighted me, he did something to me. And I'm just like, this doesn't sound like the guy that makes these videos. And I mean, this was coming more and more and more. So let's go to, we were in April right there. Let's do a little cry sesh because these happened a lot. This one, maybe a few weeks later. Okay. And we're trying to discuss or like come up with ideas of, you know, new guest or whatever, because he's just, you know, he doesn't want to do this person. He don't want to do that. He's scared to do that person. Scared to do that. It really all comes down to that he's nervous about talking to actual people. Like, I'm sure he's fine talking to people. He's not like DSP or anything, but sometimes in the interview situation, he would kind of fumble and stuff, and it'd break down the timbre and the timbre and the tempo of the conversation would kind of break down, and I would be the one to kind of have to jump in, you know, and get it restarted or just get it structured, right? And that was one of the things that he didn't like, was like structure. He just wanted to go on, either talk about whatever, no plans, like he does with Ziltex. Like, if y'all watch that stream, it's like, that's what he wanted, right? And I was trying to tell him, like, you want to do a show? That's what we talked about doing months ago, a show. Something that, you know, is kind of structured. So here we go. I'm saying, I give a note and say, hey, what about Pegasus? And he goes, Pegasus is boring, to be honest. I want to have fun on streams, not try to make people interesting like Melanie Mac. That shit is work. Oompaville might be able to talk to. Coffeezilla won't show up. Venti is boring. The Star Wars girl is also kind of boring. I pitch people when I am not working on videos. And I said, we got Think Before You Sleep on the 8th. Then there's no one scheduled after that, so I need to get on it. And he's like, bro, XQC doesn't have people on all the time. He's talking about guests. And I'm saying, I think a 1 month buffer of guests might be a good thing to shoot for, you know, like have like just a month of people scheduled, because we found after starting doing the streams that if we did a show with a guest, it would almost always be double the views, double the reach, double the super chats, because a lot of people just wouldn't handle me and him talking all the time, you know? So I thought it was like how we planned it in the very beginning. Space goes coast to coast for YouTube. Yeah, and I was supposed to be the straight man when he's doing all the stuff. Chemistry. Exactly. That's why when you see Kirsha go on side scrollers or other channels, it's good views, but it's nothing like when her and Gundam were on. Her and Gundam were on, it was just like gasoline and fire. Because all of a sudden we're getting 5,000, 6,000 concurrent, $4,000 for the first show with her, then 3,500 for the second. So, and the views were off the charts. The views were the exact same as if he did an edited video. So like just those two videos alone paid him, those two streams that are maybe like 8 hours in total, paid him $6,000, $6,500, something like that. I don't know. I wasn't privy to the members, but I'm pretty sure it was good money. And I said, XQC, I said, we did it last week and the show tanked. That was right. And he goes, I was tired. And I said, guest shows just do better than me and you. That's just a fact. Like, I've looked at it. I'm not too proud to say, hey, when it's just me and you, it's like we can go for a little while, but after a while we kind of run out of gas. So he said, I'm tired. Guest shows do better. So I should have canceled it. I can't carry if I'm exhausted. I said, it's not that. It's just guests bring their audiences. They bring their audiences. They want to see them interact. And now he gets into his pissy party. Rarely. These shows get guests. I am lucky. If they bring in 10 people as new subs, I check every live stream. This show does more for others than me. And I say, oh yeah, well, why don't you just promo the live show on your edited videos? And then he said some shit that I ain't never fucking heard him say before. He said, my biggest stream supporter is now supports Kirsha. He hasn't been back since her first live stream after. And if y'all been around, if y'all watch quality content enough, I'm not going to name the dude, but it's the dude that he gave Gundam like $500 in super chats. And he knew that name because when he saw it in Kirsha's chat, he was like, well, now he's giving her money. My biggest supporter is now giving her money. Who does that sound like, chat? I said, so what do you want to do? It was like, at this point, I was kind of taken aback. Well, you see how early in the morning this shit is? This is after the show. He said, I'm just chilling. I'm not stressing Jack anymore. And now he's going to go into his fucking cool, I'm too cool for school phase. And I ask him, I say, and this is important, y'all. I ask him on April the 29th, I said, do you even want to do the show anymore? Do you want to do this anymore? I said, I'm not forcing you. We are 4 months into this. We're over $25,000 at this point. We're really starting to get traction. The views are off the charts for a live stream. I said, why don't you promo the live show on the videos? I don't remember. You know better than anyone but the time it takes to research these crap videos. I'm trying to keep up with the algorithm and sponsors right now, and things are fucking crazy. And I said, the solution we came up was just filming one promo and sticking it in the backside and instead of having you to remember it in the script. I said, we just do it one time, done. Stick it in after the end credits. Bro, I'm having seizures in my sleep again. That's not good. I'm not stressing stuff anymore. I have limited time before it's over for me. I've known this since 2020. I've pushed as hard as I fucking can for the last 4 years. It didn't pan out. So now I'm on cruise control. I'll do the live stream and let everything come to me rather than chasing. Hell, some streams I'll fucking game. I don't care. If XQC can make bank doing nothing, or Hassan, so can I. So I'm already starting to see the disintegration of this shit. Up until about March, it was really good. There wasn't a problem. Like, we were working kind of together. He wasn't doing prep or anything, but we were collaborating, and then we were trying to figure out what this show was supposed to be, you know. As soon as he introduced Anus to me, because I didn't never know the girl before, what was it, like January? When she flipped in March, it was over with. It was a totally different situation. So let's do some background music, because this sounds too goddamn somber. Sounds like I'm doing a reading out somebody's obituary. I don't want to make it too loud, so y'all tell me if it's too loud. Y'all can't hear my voice, which is going, by the way. But I gotta do this, chat. I gotta keep going. Yeah. All right, let's set it up. Are there any questions in chat? Anyone want to know anything or want to be clued in on context? Because I'm here. I'm not dodging. I'm not running. I'm always going to be here. I'm never going to leave. Yeah. Adrian asked, was he always like this? He wasn't this bad. So he's always had that diva to him, but you kind of got to have that when you're like the front man of a band or your, solo show on YouTube. You got to have some swang to you, some swagger. But the problem with it is like we were in business by this time. And this just is not how you act in business. It's too emotional. It's too womanly. And for it to come from someone that's always talking about girl bossing too close to the sun. It's like, God damn, are you financing those motherfuckers too? So it was weird. It was jarring, to tell you the truth, especially when I figured out that how far he would bend over for Anus. That was impressive. So let's do some audio, because a lot of people didn't believe me in the very beginning that Gundam was so beholden to women, so simpish, behind the scenes, because he puts up such a great character. So how could that be? I don't understand. That's what they would say to me. And I'd say, you just said it. It's a character. I mean, that's just really the best way of putting it. Now, I'm not saying that you've got to be like 10 toes down on everything you've ever said in your entire life. Everyone can change their mind. Everyone changes. Everyone's allowed to grow or to fall. No one's got the rights to say, oh, fuck you, never gonna be nothing. You fucked up in the past, so you'll never be anything in the future. Nah, I don't believe in that. But one thing I do believe in is being loyal and respectful to the people that I make money with, because it's not about emotion, especially when I'm dealing with finance or real estate. Emotion doesn't ever factor in. It's business. It's dealings. We might have to do negotiations. And that's one of the reasons why Gundam brought me along on pretty much every negotiation he had for an agency deal, because I was a de facto agent. So I didn't understand why Anus wanted to be a producer. She didn't understand that side of it, and she wasn't helping. So, it's not like I expected. I just came with the idea. Say, hey, let's do a show. This is what we'll do. Laid it out like a business plan, because that's how I work. What she did was make like a TTS bot that just read out Super Chat. So it was two different things. And since he chose me, or just chose to go this way with it, she had the biggest hate moaner for me from day one. And if anyone was here reading these chats with me yesterday, you could see it. It came through in the words. You know, she was extremely passive aggressive. So it's not like, you know, I didn't clock her from the jump. But what was really jarring to me is right around this time I'm showing you all these screenshots, she does that thing where she tries to extort me for a few $100s for art that Gundam has hopefully paid her for, that's going into a pitch deck for his company. Totally for his company. I was only paying for the work because I didn't want to involve her because she is a fucking nightmare. And it only took me a few weeks to understand this. So, after this all happens, I cut off communication with her. I go straight to Gundam because not only is he the person I'm collabing with, technically he's my boss. We're together as partners. He has a larger say, he has final cut. So I go to him with this problem rather than lashing out, taking it on to, you know, public, whatever. Because I know that this is not a big deal. He could probably talk her down. I don't understand why she is saying, you've got my job, you stole my job, when it's not a job. I own 20% of the show. There is a difference between an employee and an owner. But this is where we're at. So after I bring it to him, he sends me a set of voice messages and they pretty much laid me on my ass. Because someone that talks about, you know, women don't trust women, you know, what's the little clip he plays? Putting the gun in the hands of a monkey. We've started doing that since the 1996 Anastu massacre. That fucking shit he runs all the time. You know, talking about, oh, well, you can't trust women, da 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 da. Well, okay. Y'all tell me if the same person that makes those videos is the same person that's talking in this clip. Is it on? Oh my God. Oh, chat. Hold on. My bad. Okay, there we go. Thank you, T.
I assumed you hired a professional to create the pitch deck, not somebody off of Fiverr. That's what I'm saying. And that's why I kept you two apart. You don't need to tell her everything or anything. You don't. Like I say, keep her out of the loop unless it's absolutely necessary, because she has a whole crazy fucking thing going on in Canada right now. And she can't really control her emotions about the situation she's in. And she lashes out. This happens a lot. That's why I don't put her in everything, because then she starts to interject herself and then she gets upset about things. She's also pissed about like you being the producer of the live show, because she felt she should have been the producer of the live show, because she told me to do a live show at some point. I don't fucking remember.
She felt she should have been producer. You hear that? You hear what he just said? Now, this is the CEO of Dig Bag Productions. He's the final say with everything. Keep that in mind.
To be real with you, so many people told me to do live shows for years upon years. And it seems like everybody's taking credit for saying it to me. And at this point, I don't give a rat's ass. So she's upset with that and she's still stewing over it. And I don't know what the hell to do about it. That's why I don't bring her into anything unless it's absolutely necessary. So she pushed for like the t-shirt shop. I'm like, cool, go for it. She's getting 50% of the t-shirt sales. I figured that should help things. I don't fucking know.
Okay. 50% of the entire merch store. The entire merch store. Okay. For just so y'all know, my deal with Gundam was 20% of super chats and 20% of the IP. If something, if like we hit the lottery and Netflix or Adult Swim bought it, whatever. I wasn't going out like that, having smiling friends and not getting a piece. But he was always concerned about the 20% super chats because that's a number he can see. But of course, if you're giving away 50% of your merch store, the money that you claim you can't pay me because you can't afford me or can't afford us being partners. So you're giving it away in just this transaction. So let's continue.
What I was going to do, but I fucking forgot because I was staring at Adabe and my mind erased. I was going to tell her, like, don't worry about the goddamn pitch deck. No more revisions. Just fuck it. And then I have her create one later on and I pay her to do it. But since I got distracted by all the crap going on in my life, I completely forgot. And now everything's off the rails somehow. And I was just cleaning hair out of this goddamn chair.
Yeah, he does that too. It's like, what do I have to do with it? I only own all this shit. Bitch about money and then give most of it away. So, okay, those are pretty bad, but that's just kind of, if you want to give away all your money to your merch, to your artists, on merch that's, supposed to be to your fans, remember, anyone that buys anything from him, half of the money goes to her. So, congratulations. So let's continue because this is the other half that really I was just done with. This is going on at the end of April. We've done the show now for 4 months. This girl, and I've been working on it since October. So we made the deal before then. So since before October until the end of April, this bitch is still stewing that she didn't get picked to be the producer on this fucking show.
She never expressed being a producer of a show. I've told her 1,000 times. Maybe I just said it. I don't fucking know. But I said, no, she might have said, oh, you should do a live show. She didn't say, I'll produce it for you. You're the first person who came to me and said, do the live show out of the countless people that did. And you set up everything. You said, let's see how it rolls. I'm like, fine, I'll roll in. That's all there's to it. It's not that fucking deep. It never was.
And that's exactly what happened. He had a bunch of people that had said, hey, do a live show. I didn't really know about that. He had mentioned it a few times months ago. And like I said, we've worked together on videos, researching, me producing some of the larger ones, helping him make the G4 ones and the, I forget the other ones. I had to look, but it's another set that we did. So it's maybe Star Wars. This is a good bit though. It's enough. Like I've been working with him, like I said, since 2020 when I engineered the whole Pokemon retaliation that worked like a fucking charm, by the way. And I've told that story, and I'll find those messages, but they're at the beginning of our conversation when I met in 2020. And this is no lie, chat. Literally, I had the scroll on my mouse set to its highest and just auto scroll in the DM in Twitter for like 2.5 hours. And I only made it back to August of 2023. So it might take a few days, not days, maybe a few hours to scroll back to 2020. Because when I tell you I used to talk to this dude every day about money, about real estate, YouTube, doing videos, drama, bullshit, it was every day. Like I said, I don't consider internet people my friends, but if there was going to be someone that was going to be close to that, it would have been him. Just because the dude, even now, like I don't hate the dude, but I hate what he did to me. And I hate the fact that he's so fucking fake. And that he is self-sabotaging good things in his life, really good things, but he just doesn't see them as good things. He sees them as a burden. Just another fucking thing he's got to handle. Oh no. More money coming in. Oh no. I got to work 3 hours. Oh my God. I ain't got enough time, man. I mean, literally, y'all. The most we did this a week was 5 hours. And that was the only time we did that was the Kirscher stream. And that's just because we had like 450 super chats to read out, to be quite honest. And that takes time. So, yeah, this is the other thing. I'll show you a text where he knows that. He almost says it out loud. He's like, I need to get a new artist. But he knows he can't. Because if he does, she'll retaliate the same way she got me. And her art is littered inside his channel. And I guarantee you, he doesn't have a contract for every piece of it. But let's go ahead and finish this out, because this is the most explosive part, I'll say.
But she makes it seem like I chose you over her. And it's just, and I hear what you're saying, like she does things and hold up your head. That's very common for women. Very normal sort of stuff. I grew up around nothing but women, so I can navigate her and understand her because I've been trained for that sort of thing.
He's the woman whisperer, chat. He's gone from ultra red pill to the woman whisperer. He can handle these women. He knows, he's dealt with these women. He's grown up around them. He's got like a sixth sense. It seems like he can fix things whenever he puts money in their hands. Oh, he's got this special power that allows them to calm down if you give them money. Oh!
But it's my fault for not, I guess, saying to you, like, don't let her interject herself into anything. Right now, she's doing a lot of shit with her family, and it's really fucking with her emotionally. And it's coming out in other places. And she's stretching herself thin. She's getting too involved. I don't know what to do with my fucking self. All I know is, why the fuck do I need a stream deck or whatever the fuck that thing is? I'm 100% sure Boogie 2988 ain't got shit. Blow blocks don't have one. Why the fuck do I need one? I'm practically Jesus.
Yeah, and this, no wonder he was simping for Pokey. Do y'all want to know a secret? Pokemon offered him like $20,000 to $25,000 to make up for whatever revenue he lost during that entire time. I remember him telling me about that. I can't pull it up right now because, like I said, that's fucking like 3 years of DMs back. But I do remember that she offered, but he did not accept because he was too proud. He was just too proud. That's just how, he wanted to wrap it in some stupid samurai quote, but it just basically came down to too proud. And the fact that, like, she could probably turn around and be like, hey, I gave him $25,000. And then he would really be outed as kind of like the simp on Main Street. But, I mean, I said, dude, there's no one would have really cared. That would have been the ultra move to get her to pay you. But he didn't want to have that kind of spotlight. It's weird. He wants the spotlight, but he doesn't want the spotlight. You know what I'm saying? He thinks like some of these edgy rants that he does, they're edgy or whatever, but they don't get the front page of anything because they're not spectacular. They don't stand out. Like some of these people, when they go on rants, they stand out because they have meltdowns. That's kind of actually where we're at now in the YouTube space. You don't really get much on YouTube just by having a hot take. Like, you got to be out there fucking melting yourself down on camera. Oh, this is a great one. He wants the spotlight, but just at a certain angle. Could not describe the situation better. He wants it at his angle. And you don't get that on YouTube, You take what you can get. You make with what you got. Yeah, the most savage man on the internet. Well, hey, let's hear what the most savage man on the internet does whenever his woman employee is having an emotional breakdown.
God damn it. What was the name of that guy who used to be really popular said that shit? Fuck. Ah, damn it. I talked to her. I guess I got her to calm down a bit. Um, the t-shirts I sold $1,000. I told her to keep the damn money. We got into a little bit of an argument over that. She's refused the money, so I'm like, keep the $1,000. How much for you to make a pitch deck? She avoided me for a while, and she goes, "Well, I could do one for 150." I said, "Cool, I'll give you 500, and look at it as like some back pay, and for me to use the other thing." I'm pretty sure she'll come back later and get upset that I told her that she couldn't rewrite it again. She offered to do it again. I said, "No, you're not rewriting it again. You have to deal with your family. You focus on that shit." So nothing has to be said. She doesn't need to know, I guess. And we'll just go on with this. And then I'll have her do a new one. It'll be a professional one. Everyone will be happy. I'll just pay for it. Everything will be fine and copacetic. I will now enjoy cat hair.
Spoiler alert, she did not make another pitch deck. So yeah, master negotiator Gundam right there walks in. The offer was 150 on the table. He says counters with 500 and then complains that he can't afford to pay me on a show that makes nearly $2,500 on super chats, memberships, and ad revenue every show. You know, I know we got to do the YouTube 30% split. Oh my God, but everyone has to do that. So do y'all remember, this was do y'all have questions on this audio? Because I feel like, you know, this is just weird to listen to after hearing him talk about, oh, I don't make enough money. No one respects me. I don't get enough views. All these women, girl bosses, they're overvalued, you know, all this stuff. And the first one that gets a little mean to him, he's like, oh God, no, please take this money and go. Take it and go. No. It's like, that's weird, dude. It's like, you're supposed to be a man. You're supposed to be running a business here. Why couldn't you told her straight up, says, look, I'm doing the show with Josh. If you wanted to do it with me in the first place, I'm doing the show with Josh. We made this decision months ago. Either you move on or I'm going to have to move on without you, you know, but we can't keep doing this every other week. And my solution was, why don't we just bring her on the show and she could do whatever she wants on the show? You know, she can help out. She can get on and talk like I talk. She can be here every day doing a prep, you know, looking at videos, seeing what's happening. I just don't think that she's that kind of person. I've never seen any content from her to judge how she is on camera or mic. But even giving an artist 50% of your merch store, that's fucking crazy. That's crazy. I thought anyone that ran a merch, I actually thought that no one would ever get more than like 20% out of this dude. Because even when I was negotiating him for a percentage, I started out at 25. And I was just like, well, look, I'll just do 20. So it's an easy number because you're not very good at math. So just divide it by 5. I don't know how hard dividing by 4 was, but divide it by 5. And he was like, cool, that's easy enough. And I said, do you want to make up a written contract? No, I don't know. We just a handshake. You can trust me. You know, I'm not going to give you any analytics or totals or anything. You'll have to kind of guess it off a playboard, but you can trust me. So you sure, dude? You know, it doesn't cost me anything to write up a contract. I can get my lawyers to do it right now. They'll just put it on my bill, you know? It's not a big deal. You scare him off. He gets scared. He's scared when you start putting paperwork in front of him. Years ago, he would send me the fucking paperwork. If he was like doing a contract or something, he'd send it to me to look over. Now he's at least like smart enough to read the contract before he signs it. But he's also smart enough to know that if he flakes out on the contract, then he's fucked. And he's, you know, flaking out for Gundam runs about 30%, 40% of the time. So if you hold him to the fire, you know, with you said this, this, that, and the other, then that's uncomfortable for him. And he's not going to do it because there's no percentage for him. He'll just not do a show. He'll just not do it. To him, this doesn't matter. The live show doesn't matter. Everyone sent super chats trying to connect with him, anything. He don't care. He hates YouTube. He hates social media. Hates it. I mean, not like in the way like, Keen loves social media, but he has a love-hate thing with the audience. This dude just hates it. Get some music back going. Y'all doing all right? Am I boring y'all? Do y'all want to move on to another subject? Or do y'all want to stick around and keep looking at some of these DMs? Actually, we've got a donation from Saren. $10. This $10 has no strings attached. It is not a loan. Godspeed, sir. Thank you so much, Saren. Now, you're not going to come back like in a few months and say it's a loan, are you? I can't handle that anymore, man. Just tell me now. Tell me now. I can take it now. I appreciate that, Omega Top. I like getting feedback from the audience because it lets me know if I'm doing something entertaining or if I'm being cringe or whatever. When I get the avatar finished, that's going to be great because y'all can also see my expressions. And since I'm Italian, there's a lot of hand movement going over here on this side of the mic. So it's going to look really good. Actually, do y'all want to see what I'm basing it off of? I can give you a sneak peek. And y'all can tell me if I'm going in the right direction or I should go a different direction. Because this is just going to be an inspiration and kind of like the dimensions of what I'm looking for in an avatar. Because I don't want anime. I want to stick out a little bit. And right now, anime avatars is kind of like a sea of anime avatars. So I want to stick out. Adonis Paul. I like his avatar. Because it's him. If you see it, it's him. So this is inspiration for my avatar, and I think I'm going to have it full body like this. I don't know why this is so small. There we go. Kid Notorious. The old one-season cartoon from Comedy Central starring the man, my inspiration, Bob Evans. Producers of hits like The Godfather Part 2, Chinatown, Love Story. The man, the myth, the legend, went to the top of the mountain in Paramount, thrown down into the valleys after a drug scandal, but came back in the 90s to produce a weird movie with Val Kilmer, where he was like a spy or something, and it was starring the girl from Adventures in Babysitting. I forget the name. Yeah, Falcon knows. The producer superstar himself. In fact, The Saint. Yes, The Saint. That's it. He produced The Saint after his big fall from grace. Which The Saint was a good movie. I mean, it wasn't like James Bond, but it was entertaining. I still catch it every once in a while when it comes on. But of course, The Godfather was just out of this world, and he produced it. They adapted the screenplay from the book with Francis Ford Coppola and Al Ruddy, and that entire situation was I think it was either a Hulu or an Amazon series called The Offer. And the guy that played Robert Evans in The Offer did a spot on impression. I loved it. But then again, yeah, Omega just turned 40. Gundam's a little younger than you. Not 20s. It's a little younger. I'm 45. I just turned 45, as a matter of fact, like a couple months ago. So, what are we talking about here, Remy? Starring Roger Moore. That's why they got him for Bond. Were you talking about? Are you talking about that show that he was on before? I don't know. Actually, do y'all want to hear something that's inspirational? Check this out. Okay. Picture this. I think it's like 1972. And the board at Paramount Pictures is owned by like this conglomerate named, was it Gulf Pacific? I have to pull this up because I'm not going to remember everything. Anyways, they were having a board meeting, and Paramount, the CEOs of Paramount were getting ready to sell the studio, sell all the assets, the books, everything, you know. And they had just finished production on Love Story. Bob Evans. They just finished production on Love Story. They had begun production on The Godfather. And they were in pre-production. They were getting ready to shoot. All of a sudden, the board meeting's going on, and the whole studio is about to get sold. And everyone is freaking out. Robert Evans says, "Give me a cameraman, give me a camera, and give me a set down on the lot. Give me like 2 hours." And everybody's like, okay. Grabs cameraman. They run out to the set. They go to the set from this show called The Young Lawyers. And they record like a 5-minute show reel where Robert is talking to the camera, but he's talking to the board about what's coming up in their portfolio, you know, what's going down later on, why they should trust them. This part is the actual video that he recorded. Now, this is film. This is not like, they didn't take a video camera. This is like 72. So he had to take the video camera, film it, develop the negative, all this stuff within a couple of hours. And this is what he came up with.
And handed the projectionist Paramount's future.
Good afternoon. My name is Robert Evans, and I'm Senior Vice President of Paramount Pictures. By the way, this is not my office. We tried to shoot this scene in my office. We brought the cameras up, but there was one problem. My office was too small to get the cameras in. I came down to the studio to borrow a set from the Young Lawyers, and that's where we are now. As a matter of fact, I don't even have offices at the studio anymore. Last year, we packed up our gear, cut down our staff, tightened our belts, moved into small quarters at little offices in Beverly Hills. They're good enough for us, believe me they are. These past few years have been rough for Hollywood. We've made a lot of mistakes. Some people have learned from them, and some people haven't. We have. The money we spend is not going to be through extravagances. The money we spend is going to be on the screen.
On the screen.
And speaking of the screen, I think, well, maybe that's the reason we're here today. I'd like to have the opportunity of showing you some of our product for 1971. But right now, we're approaching
This man
Christmas,
is making a pitch deck
and Paramount's Christmas gift to the world is Love Story.
for his studio.
I think Love Story is going to start a new trend in movies. A trend towards the romantic, towards love, towards people, towards telling a story about how it feels rather than where it's at. I think Love
Yeah, I'm
Story
probably
is
gonna get copyright
bring
claim for
people
this, for Love
back into the
Stories
theater in droves.
soundtrack. Maybe if I talk over it a little bit, it might help. If we can just talk a
I could
little
go
bit.
on
It's a
for
lovely
an hour
song,
and tell you about 20 or 30
but
projects that are in various
I
stages
just hope
of
we don't get
development and
claimed.
bore you with it.
But here we
So
go.
I won't. But I want to bring up one project, and that's The Godfather. I bring it up for several reasons. One, that it's starting production next month. Two, that it's going to be our next Christmas's picture. And three, to bring up the similarity between The Godfather and Love Story, which are the two biggest books of the last decade. Paramount owns them both. But Paramount has more than just owning them both. We didn't sit back in our plush chairs and write a check out for $1 million or $1.5 million for the books,
It's not about
which
the money.
happens so often in our industry. We developed both of these books. If it
Development.
weren't for Paramount, the book Love Story would never have been written. If it weren't for Paramount, The Godfather would never have been written, because we were in there in the beginning, spurring the writers on, working closely with them to make these books the bestsellers that they are, and what we think will be the great movies they're going to be. We at Paramount don't look at ourselves as passive backers of film. We look at ourselves as a creative force unto ourselves. And that is why Paramount is going to be paramount in the industry in the 70s. I promise you that.
That man came up with that off the top of his head. Ended up saving the studio, not selling. The Godfather comes out, smash hit. Love Story, smash hit. Godfather 2, smash hit. No one counted this guy. Robert started as a extra and ended up as one of the most powerful producers in Hollywood. But most people don't know his name, but they know his work. And that's always been inspirational to me. I've never been the one that wanted to be in front of the camera, but I did want to be a part of the game. So working with Gundam, being on camera with them, it was a big opportunity for me. I'm not going to lie. Like that's, as far as, YouTube is concerned, like I've had opportunities in other things and I've done well on them, but on YouTube, I've never been a front man myself. I've always been support staff, producer, writer, researcher, whatever, newsman, anything. Just to be in the game, get the experience, get how it works. But now that I've been in it for going on, 15, talking about maybe 9 years now, 8 years. Even though I was retired for a few years, I was still assisting Gundam and other people. So it's not like I totally ran out. Well, it just sucks when you develop something and you can see, you know that it's going to be big. You can see that it's on the cusp of just exploding. But you're the only person that can see it, and you can't convince anyone else, especially the person that you need to convince. Because the person that you need to convince is a little bit too focused on themselves and what they can get in the immediate. And they're also concerned with, how do I put this? They're concerned with gatekeeping. So even though Gundam wants to be let in, he wants to be the big YouTuber. The way he acts with support staff and smaller YouTubers speaks differently. Because when he said this, I think Ludwig is trying to use me as a name on a resume for editing. I see him all over the place trying to edit. Well, why can't he use your name? He does edit for you. Are you mad that he's not using your name, bro? He's doing work. He has a portfolio that he can show other clients. Because I guarantee you, if there's a problem between him and Gundam, he's getting the short end of the stick. And he's concerned with Ludwig using his name on a resume. That's his big concern today. Being taken advantage of by his editor that does a great job by just saying, hey, I edit for Gundam. That's it. Because y'all want to know another thing about these YouTubers? Most of them, when they get to a certain point, they know that if they're with you or, you know, they're involved with you, they know that that can bring eyes to you. And there's two types of YouTubers. There are people that look at that as, hey, I want to share my collabs and the people that I like with my audience. And the other person says, I don't want this person to have my audience bump because I had to work for it. So they don't deserve it because it's mine. And you can decide which one Gundam is. That's just always weird to me, the way he would treat Ludwig behind the scenes, you know. Because, of course, you know, when he's talking to him, it's all love. When he's talking to me, though, it's like all hate. I'm sure that when he's talking with someone else, he's hating on me. You know, small YouTuber just trying to get his name out there, bro. What the fuck? Why do you care? He's doing a good job. You don't have to do any more editing. All you do is just do like a voice edit. He does the entire edit. You do a few things behind him and then credit him as co-editor. You won't even call him an editor. He's co-editor because you want to allow him to just be the editor because, you know, Gundam edits. Do y'all know he edits? Do y'all know he spends a lot of time on Adobe? Did y'all know that? Well, make sure you know that. So you're not an editor around here, Ludwig. You're the co-editor. Don't goddamn use my name on a resume without telling me. Okay. Let's do some fucking bombshells. How about that? This was right around the time where he's just like, this is when I knew that he was done with the show. And after this, I asked, you know, I was like, hey, man, we need to talk. And I said, hey, if you don't want to do this anymore, you know, just let me know because I feel like I'm really just fucking spinning my wheels here. So he's bitching about money as usual. And I'm trying to lay down, you know, what he's making because he doesn't obviously know. And I say, if we average out how we're going right now, I said this entire channel will probably bring in about $75,000 for the year. And this is what he says. Here's the thing. I don't care about the money. I care more if people enjoy the show and I'm having fun and reaching people. I care if the views go up or the channel grows more than money. This is how I've always been and I won't change from what I can tell. Going over the numbers gets annoying because it doesn't matter to me unless it's something amazing. Excuse me. The TikTok video hitting 1 million randomly gave me a better high than making money on any stream ever can or will. I don't remember to promote the stream among many things in my life. I do the best I can with what little time I have to myself, which is very little. My editors save me from editing, but I still have to plan out 3 videos if all of us are editing at different projects. The second the streams are over, I have to do something else I don't want to do. I have to focus on the next project and meeting expectations. I am not thinking about the next stream at all until it's time to do the show, or even then, I just show up and act as if everything is funny. I don't think about what the stream made. I don't think about the number I am on that stream site. He's talking about Playboard. I don't care if I beat Geeks and Gamers or Tim Pool. Beating people that can't do much outside of this internet bullshit is like doing better than a crippled person. I think the quartering interview went okay. I sold it despite not giving a single fuck or wishing I could finish a project I've been working on for a month that I keep pushing back. And this is not even the end of it. Fuckery. Active, everything is funny. Beating on cripple, blah, 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 blah. Now, I am going to do other things I have to do before forcing myself to be on Drinker's stream so I don't have to be hit up again for a few weeks to be on. I know you want me to ask him to be on the live show. The second my band was into doing music again, I was writing stuff at a feverish pace. For the first time in a while, I could do something creative without being linked to some online bullshit. Creativity for the sake of creativity is where I am mentally thrive. Everything else obstructs this for me. And then he tells me Drinker, Mahler, and Az will do the show. Yeah, a bunch of fucking crying, man. I don't care about the money. I can't keep you on because of money. What? But he just didn't like doing the show. He just didn't like doing the show. You know, even doesn't care how much y'all like the show. And I showed him, you know, everyone likes the show. They're telling me they're clipping it. Elisa Clips loves it. She's clipping it. Other people are talking about it. Kino Casino. We will have them on. Maybe we'll be on over there. Lots of stuff. There was lots of stuff brewing. It's not, I'm not ending it right now, but I probably won't be going too much longer because my throat's really kind of fucking with me. We're at an hour and a half, probably at least another 30, maybe an hour. I don't know. Let me check Streamlabs real quick. Just make sure we don't have any new donations. Actually, we do. I've received one donation for $5 from Lumi, friend of the channel, also friend of the channel, friend of the show before. Have a no strings attached $5. You even get an anime fishwoman as a fan included. Keep up the amazing work. Well, thank you, anime fishwoman. I'm not downing on anime, by the way, when I said I didn't want to have an anime avatar. I love the art style. It's just, I need to be different. So, but thank you. Thank you for that $5. That always amazes me. People enjoy my content. Hey, there's Lumi right there. This is where, how you doing tonight, Lumi? Coleman Black, he just doesn't want to do it. Can't force a horse to drink. Too bad. It was great. Clearly, thanks to you. I know. I can't. You can't force a square peg in a round hole. I'm not gonna fucking make the guy make money. It's like, oh, take this money, take this clout, these views, take this growth. No, 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 it's too much. It's too much. I got no time. Too busy. I would figured he'd want to get out of that house as soon as possible. I mean, if y'all notice that his paint area is his kitchen. I asked him one time, I said, how do you cook? I said, if your kitchen is your paint booth, basically, like, how do you cook? He's like, I don't really cook that much. Okay. I'm also confused on, like, if that's a house or an apartment, or if he lives with his mom and sister, or if he lives alone. It's confusing because if it's a house, then is it a family house? You don't have a mortgage and you never had one. So how do you have a house? The only way that happens is, you know, left in the family kind of thing, which is fine. You know, one of my first houses was the house my family lived in, and then rented out, and then I took over the mortgage. And that was my first foray into real estate. And I was like 22, 23 at that time. I was so, right around that time, like from 20 to 25, like I was so hustle mentality, bro. Hustle mentality. Like I made a couple of $100,000 and put it into a house selling MP3 CDs at the car audio shop that I used to work at. I used to sell MP3s CD players for customers because we were in kind of like the more urban style part of Birmingham. So if you sold, you know, this is 2001, 2000, 2002. You sold someone a CD player, it said MP3 on it. No one knew what that fucking meant, especially where we were at. So as soon as I showed them, hey, these CDs that I used to DJ, they would hold like, you know, a couple hundred songs per CD. Let me show you. And as soon as you showed someone that a CD could hold a few hundred songs instead of like 20, they bought it fucking instantly. Yeah, I was burning CDs at a feverish pace. I had some of the first the CD copier machines. They didn't really exist for home use back then, so you had to get a commercial one. But I'm telling you, as soon as I was able to create at least like 200 to 300 CDs a day, bro, my deal was you buy 1 for $5, 3 for $10, or 7 for $20. And I averaged like $1,000 a day. It got so bad or so good that my boss stopped paying me. Like, he didn't pay me anymore. I actually had to pay them to work there. And it was fine by me because what the hell? Where else are you going to go work that you could make a few $1,000s a day? Now, I was younger back then and I didn't really invest a lot. I did the house, but a lot of that money is just lost in time. You know, MR2, car shit, all that stuff. That's why now that I actually have money, I'm very structured with it because I've seen what can happen when you go overboard. Yeah, I've been a salesperson my entire life. I've worked in mobile electronics since I was a teenager. And off and on, I've had different jobs, but I've always come back to working it, you know, car audio is what we used to call it back in the day. Now it's like truck accessories and engine work and that kind of stuff, like full 360 shop, stuff like that. It's like nowadays, that industry, the whole mobile electronics industry, is fucking shot. That's the reason why I transitioned over to YouTube, because by the time that I was working in the industry in like 2013, 2014, it was like 60% of it is gone because you couldn't take out the head units anymore. You can't integrate stuff. Yeah, the Alpines, all those head units, you know, the old Pioneers with the dolphins on them, the first in-screen TVs that would pop out. Remember Fast and Furious had the old Kenwood that would pop out and they would raise like the reverse way. It would flip up towards you instead of flipping out and flipping back. Oh, the rooftop Koreans. If you want to see a great video on rooftop Koreans, there's this one creator that made one that he makes great crime videos. We'll get back to the Gundam stuff in just 1 second. But the rooftop Korean, their username always reminds me of that video. So we'll watch it for just a second. I know it. Yeah, the Roof Korean by Popo Medic. That's what it was. All right, let me show you. We'll take a look at Count Dankula did one on him. That's cool. And people were kind of mad that I didn't go into his divorce the other night when I mentioned it. But basically, that was it. He's getting a divorce. There's not much to talk about. All right. Let's take a quick look at these rooftop Koreans for a minute. Oh, anytime, Lumi. This is a good channel, too. Popo Medic.
29th, 1992. Chaos erupts in the streets of Los Angeles as tens of thousands of looters pillage the city. And with emergency services unavailable, business owners were left to fend for themselves. And out of all the stories told of the infamous 1992 LA riots, none have scratched the surface between myth and legend, like the story of a group of Korean immigrants taking arms on rooftops. This is that story.
I love videos Los Angeles. 1992. Riots. Savage. Divided by race. Divided by hate. But one nationality stands above the rest. The invincible. The legendary.
Hi everyone, Donut here. The wait is over. I finally got around to making the roof cream video after years of anticipation. Just kidding. Here's Popo Medic.
In April of 1992, 4 LAPD officers were tried following one of the most
Okay, I'm gonna
controversial
skip to
excessive
the,
force
to the-
incidents.
when they come out, because they're just describing the riot, and I don't want to get hit. I'm gonna have so many copyright strikes, but I'm doing it for y'all. Let me make sure that I'm right. Yeah, here we go. This is the spot.
South Korea before immigrating to the United States, many of whom were formerly voluntold soldiers who knew how to fight. And the fight came to Koreatown rather swiftly, as rioters moved up north from Florence and Normandy with a newfound thirst for looting. At 11:30 a.m., one employee of a local gun store, David Jew, was working behind the counter when the shop phone rang. It was a phone call from his employer, Richard Park, who owned another store
Look,
a few
that
doors
man
down.
just drew
Richard
down.
informed David that he was at
He drew down with his hand behind him.
the nearby shop and in the middle of a gunfight. David locked up the gun store, ran across the parking lot, armed with a Beretta. When he arrived, he heard gunshots, at which point looters from across the street made their way to the gun shop plaza and opened fire on Richard and David. But when the two men fired back, the assailants fled the area immediately. Word quickly spread throughout Koreatown that this method had worked, in not only protecting Richard's property, but his life. Korean business owners who caught word of this began to phone in a Los Angeles-based radio station called Radio Korea, pleading to the radio station's audience for an armed response to help protect their property.
Everybody park in a street, took some everything, liquor, beer,
When you got here, you said people were still inside the store. What did you do?
sit inside. I shut 8 times, everybody moved.
A merchant guarding his properties. You got anybody out there or just a shot?
Rick Romero out here. All of the merchants here are not going to wait for the National Guard or police or anybody else. You talked about guerrilla warfare, and it's right here, right on the premises here. Just about every one of the individuals in this.
Radio Korea quickly became dubbed Koreatown's makeshift command center, warning listeners of the whereabouts of incoming
those
looters,
rooftop Koreans.
and offered itself as a
Yeah, here we
911
go.
system, allowing shop owners
They
to
were
call out for
Vietnam
help
vets.
over the air.
And they
After
were
the realization sank in,
war
there would be
hardened,
no
too.
response
Like, this
from
is
police,
92.
fire, or EMS, already stretched
These guys,
too
they
thin,
were
responding
vets.
to thousands
They're
of
like
ongoing
in their
emergencies.
40s.
아니스 옷가게라고 있습니까? 아니 옷가게 거기 있는 남자 옷이에요. 남자 옷가게 거기 탔어요? 네, 거기가 지금 불타고 있어요.
Now, the guy behind the counter that's selling liquor,
We have no
It's like a
police
master
support whatsoever.
sergeant
People are
in
driving by,
Special
shooting at us,
Special
and we have to do something about it.
A local
how it
resident
was.
by the name of Ina Cho and president of the Korean Veterans Association in 1992 was listening to the broadcast and decided to call in a little broadcast of his own, requesting all Korean Marine Corps veterans to respond to the area. Soon after, a group of around 15 Korean Marine Corps veterans arrived, equipped with rifles and rendezvoused with Cho. The men responded to a large electronics warehouse, Kim's
lit
TV,
that
where
shit
Radio
up. I
Korea was
remember
broadcasting that a mob of looters were attempting to
being
break
younger
in. The warehouse had an iron door, which the
and,
mob was beating and ramming
watching
with a
these
truck.
riots
When
on
the mob
TV.
finally took
They were
down the
crazy.
door, Cho attempted to stop the looters who were sprinting
we're not
inside
gonna do too
when
much.
two
I
vehicles
just
with
wanna
a
do a little bit
combined
more.
occupation of 10 people got out of their cars and opened fire on Cho, hitting him one time. Richard Kim, whose parents owned the electronics store, armed himself with a semi-automatic rifle. As the warehouse was under fire, his mother suffered a gunshot wound while trying to shield his father. And as more Koreans became injured, more and more Koreans took up arms, taking positions on rooftops for maximum tactical advantage. Not only did they have the high ground and could see everything from the roof, but parapets made for the perfect cover from incoming fire. And these firefights were televised.
More familiar with weaponry than I am. He says it looks to be a 9mm Uzi.
Where Korean shopkeepers could be seen armed with M1 carbines,
glasses, chat.
Ruger Mini 14s, pump-action shotguns, handguns, and Daewoo K1A1s. Look at this dude's loadout. He's got a red...
That's my homie. That's a famous fucking picture right there. Look at that man. That man is having the time of his life. It's a good day in LA.
Daewoo K1A1s. Look at this dude's loadout. He's got a red polo t-shirt and a Daewoo K1A1. I mean, come on. One of the most iconic photographs of roof Koreans happened at a small grocery store called California Market. The owner fortified his store with 20 well-armed employees and volunteers, all of whom were wearing white headbands. They were often shooting blanks or discharging warning shots into the air, which is dumb. You gotta wonder where those went. But their methods worked, as looters scattered, fleeing the area as quickly as they could. On May 3rd, after 4 days of exchanging gunfire with armed looters, the rooftop Koreans successfully forced every single wave of remaining mobs out of Koreatown, saving countless lives and livelihoods in which the Korean American identity was born. And on that same day, over 1,100 Marines and 6,500 National Guard troops patrolled the streets of Los Angeles, putting an end to the chaos.
Rooftop Koreans.
If it wasn't for a few brave men who stood up against their opposers,
Rooftop
Koreatown
Koreans
would have been unsalvageable. The nearly week-long rioting killed more than 60 people, injuring more than 2,300, and caused approximately $1 billion in damage, half of which was sustained by Korean-owned businesses. Korean Americans have come to refer to the 1992 uprising as Saigu, which translates to April 29th, a day Koreans will never forget.
It's probably the music too. There's a lot of music in this one.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that.
And when there's two voices overlap, I know that's a little bit. I'm a little bit low. Am I low right now? 1 2 1 2 3. D's nuts. Am I still low? 1 2 1 2. I'll probably have to look into that a little bit more. No, I'm good. Okay. It's probably that when I'm playing this stop screen that it attenuates back and forth and I'm jumping in. But you live and learn, you know. You get copyright strikes, you learn not to do that shit again. Your audio's a little bit low, you learn not to talk when the video's playing. I just don't like the idea of like pausing it every fucking 10 seconds. But it's whatever. Okay. Let's do a couple more of these fucked up little screenshots. Let me think, where do I want to go next? I'm literally staring at like 50 right now. Oh, let's do the YouTube percent when he didn't know how super chats worked. This one right here, because a lot of people didn't believe me. They were like, he knows how super chats work. He's fucking been doing YouTube for years. How do you not know how super chats work? What? Super chats? What are those? What? Nah. That was just one of the weirdest things, because I think this was in the middle of the night when he sent me this. Let me see. No, it was during the day. During the day. All right. Here it is. So this is him, May, a few weeks later. Jumps in, says, hey, you know what's funny? I realized I was paying you from the super chats before YouTube's cut like a dumbass before YouTube's cut. Okay. And for those that don't know, YouTube takes their cut automatically. You never see it. You never see it. If someone gives you $10, you will get 7 from YouTube. You will not get 10 and have to give them back 3. That's not how anything works, ever. So I was confused. I said, you sure? He said, YouTube shows what the chat made, super chats. He said, the Kirsha stream made 2,300. Now, mind you, this 2,300 right here is after YouTube takes their 30%. Because the total for this was about 3,700, if I remember correctly. So 1/3 of that is about 1,300. And this was the number that always made him the most mad, was the YouTube 30% cut on super chats. Does that remind you of anyone, chat? So I said, okay, let me do the math backwards because he obviously doesn't understand. I say we average $1,500 a show times 4, 6,000. 70% of 6,000 is 4,200. 20% of that, 4,200, is 840, which is right around how much I get paid. That's actually a little high because it's probably more like 4,000. But still, this is an average. And he says, normally I just pay that sum, not factoring in YouTube's 30%. So again, he thinks he has to pay YouTube 30% at the end of the month. I don't understand how he doesn't understand that YouTube never lets you see that money. And I had to run it backwards for him and explain, look, by the time you get the money, dude, they've already taken out their fees. Everyone has taken out their fees. So the only fee that you got to worry about after that is the 20% you owe me. That's it. We got vets in chat. What is up, veterans? But yeah, this was, I'm telling y'all, bros, this is the end of May. And the thing finally dissolved and broke down by the end of June. But you can see that he's testing the fence for how he can save a couple of $100. Because why would you call and say, hey, I fucked up, I gave you too much money? If you really did, and not figure it out. Yeah, here are your crumbs, basically. But I mean, when you see what you get with the 30%, I know it's a lot. It is a lot. But most of these payment processors like Steam and Epic, they do Apple Store 30%, Play Store 30%. You know, they're stuck on 30% because they are just becoming a payment processor at that point. But they're also assuming liability for chargebacks. And that's what you're really paying for. Because in Streamlabs and stuff, that money's cool, gets sent right to my PayPal. I don't have, but maybe they only take out maybe like 10%, I think. But it's on me if they're chargebacks. So technically that money has to sit in the account until it's not able to be charged back, which is 90 days. So if DSP was really running a business that was a sound business, he would not take out any money of his PayPal account until it's 90 days old. So that means he would have to have 3 months worth of money in storage to work his bills. And that's the reason why every month he is running at a deficit, because he is robbing Peter to pay Paul and robbing Paul to pay the taxes that he paid Peter. And then it just goes in a circle. That's why he has an indefinite tax bill. You know, a lot of these YouTubers, they make lots of money, but when you get a lot of money, it's a lot of problem and it's a lot of responsibility. And small percentages, when you have hundreds of thousands of dollars. 1 to 2% is a couple of $1,000. So this is about the time when I knew. I was like, yeah, this shit is not going in the right direction as far as the relationship between me and him. Because while the show was, gaining all kinds of ground, good guests on, people were having fun. We were developing a community, which is very hard to do. Let's see here. This is one that he's talking about wanting 1 million subs. He's stuck on wanting 1 million subs, even though subs don't really dictate views, and views are what you get paid for. You don't get paid for subs. So this is him kind of venting his frustration with me because he doesn't like some of the stories or videos I picked. Now, mind you, he could do whatever he wants. He could pick anything he wants to put on his show. It's his show. I would really like the help and the guidance. I asked for it many times. And he says, you tend to pick stuff that pisses off Zoomers and millennials. Really? I thought you pissed off Zoomers and millennials. I send stuff every now and then, but most of the time I'm working on stuff till I fuck up my sleep. I'm surprised the live streams aren't going off like gangbusters. I mean, $2,000 a show is pretty good. What do y'all think, chat? Would you call $2,000 a stream, a 3-hour stream that you don't do any prep on, you just show up? Would you call that gangbusters? I mean, on average, we were always hitting top 10 for our day. I don't really know what other gang we're busting out. Sounds good to me. Sounds good. Sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah, it's good money. That's every week. Every week, one show. Just think if you had 2 shows. Think if you did quality content, and that's 3 hours. And then on Monday or something, did 3 hours, 4 hours with Kirsha. It would double. He would make like $4,000 to $5,000 a week on just super chats. Times 4, it's 20 grand a month. That's before the cut. But if you take the cut out of it, you're still walking out with $14,000. So I say, okay, 2,000 a show is pretty good. He says, I want to hit 1 million. I want to be asked to shows that aren't 10 viewers. I said, if you want subs, you need to start branching out to different communities that don't know you. Because you've pretty much got most of your side. I've done Muda's podcast. People complain like I am Satan. And straight to the victim complex. 1 million subs, gray box. I mean, I'm sure he wants $1 million too, but in this particular thing, it was 1 million subs. Hey, Sam, it's 1/3 of what most people make. And I didn't really realize, he only really started making money in like 20 to 21 after the Pokey thing. So before then, it's just a regular creator trying to make a living. It hasn't been that long. And he's only been making good money maybe for like 3 years. But to become that detached from normal people, it was jarring. Because I saw kind of the transition. And it would always make me uncomfortable whenever he would bring up, well, you have no problems because you're wealthy. It's like, that's not a fucking cure-all. Money is not a cure-all. Money helps with bills. Money helps not having stress about other things in life, but it's not a fucking cure-all. You can throw money at a lot of shit and it won't do anything. So Yeah, I need that money. Again, who does it sound like, chat? I mean, he was always jealous that DSP was making money. And now that he makes more money than DSP, he acts just like him. But only behind the scenes. He doesn't act like that in front of the camera because he can't give up the kayfabe. If he breaks character, then y'all won't believe it. And y'all still think that he's like, you know, the red pill master. He's a good dude. I'm not going to call the dude a fucking shitbag. But he is shitty at business. He doesn't know where to stand his ground at and say what he wants. He's real flim-flammy that way. And women take advantage of him, specifically women. He tried to say everyone takes advantage of me. But I was like, no, women take advantage of you. And we can point to a lot of them because you're basically a brother husband. You know, if my sister came to me and said, oh my God, I've got a $22,000 loan for college and I didn't go through, you know, student loans. I just went to a bank, had my mother go to a bank and get a fucking like 7% loan on 22 grand. And I don't have a job. I never got a job for any of the things I learned in college. It was basically just fucking throwing money down the drain. So guess what? Gundam, you got to pay for it. Either that or we're going to send your mom to work. And of course they're not going to do that. No one's going to send their mother to work like that. So good son pays it off. You know, good son, he's a good guy like that. Pays it off. But there was times that I warned him about this. I said, if you continue to do this, I said, you'll be more or less her brother husband because it won't give her incentive to go out there and get a husband, get a job, get on your feet. You know, I said, you doing this is just enabling her to do the same behavior. I said, you got a track record with this actually, because one of the first things that he contacted me about when it come to finances was when his mother was doing taxes. And he came to me and he said, hey, I made $250,000. I'm about to pay $100,000 in taxes. I don't know anything about taxes. My mom has done my taxes for my entire life. She's about to cut a check for $100,000 for taxes. Because in her mind, the math equation went like this: 250 minus 40%. You know, what's the 40%? It's like 100 and some change. Well, of course, that's not correct at all. It's like double. So this is before he before he pays the IRS this money, right? He contacts me and he's like, does this look right? And even me, I was like, let me get a second opinion for me because I don't want to tell this dude something wrong. Because at this point, I didn't really know him that well. So I even had one of my guys look at it and they're like, yeah, like any effort just to write off a few things would get this bill down to at least 75. And that's what just mean looking at this from a bird's eye view. So I call him back. I'm like, yeah, that's wrong. I was like, don't pay that. I was like, do an extension, hire someone, because the money that you pay to hire someone is going to be much less than you're going to lose in paying the government more. And he's like, I don't know. My mom's done my taxes the entire time. You know, maybe I should just go along with what she says. Again, I was like, no, it's wrong. Your mom is wrong. I was like, I know you love her, everything, but the math is not math. It's wrong. And you call me for a second opinion, giving you opinion. It's wrong. So what does he do? He pays $100,000. He pays the $100,000 because he's too lazy or just doesn't care enough to go against his mother at that particular time. Since then that he's gotten his own business, she doesn't do any finances because he's had to wait to get that $50,000 refund. It's either 50 or 40, but they have held on to $50,000 or $40,000 going on 3 years now, maybe 2. So if you were just to put that money into a 5% CD for the last 2 years, you'd probably get about an extra $6,000 in interest. But when they give you, if they give it back to you, there's going to be no interest in it. So it's just going to be dead money. And all he had to do was maybe spend a few $100s on a CPA just to get him to prepare it, because he was preparing taxes as like an individual, just an individual non-married man. Well, an individual non-married man, when they get like $250,000 and they do no write-offs, it's like, yeah, you're going to get hit with super high. But that's just somebody typing shit into TurboTax. That's all she did. She typed in some numbers to TurboTax. It spit out a number, and this is what you pay right here. Poof, psh, go. That's what he paid. There's another time. I hate talking about a dude like this, but it's just weird. He wants to talk about losing money so much, but some of these things that he does it's just stupid. He had a family member that had that Toyota truck. They wanted to sell it because they were upside down in the payments. The mother wanted to buy it. But what she wanted to do was she wanted Gundam to pay for it in cash up front. $40,000 for like a 2018 Toyota Tundra. 4-wheel drive with like weird Gooner rims on it, like chrome rims from like from like the 80s. Really ugly rims. But the truck is nice. $40,000 in cash to pay off that truck, to set the uncle straight so he doesn't go repo. And the mother will pay back Gundam $40,000 because she's going to get a loan from the bank to cover that $40,000 to give it right back to him. But I was like, dude, why don't you just buy, if you got to buy the truck, if y'all need a car, buy it with the 40 and have your mom just pay you, in increments so she doesn't have to pay the finance charge on $40,000, which a bank loan for $40K, I don't know how much that is in interest, but I'm assuming it's going to be over $10,000. So now you're paying 50 for 40. So we're going backwards here. And then I was like, if she was just going to want the truck, why don't she just go to the bank, get the loan, and pay for it with the uncle? It's like, why are you in the middle? And they were like, because they want to do it now. They got to do it right now. Like, they can't wait on the bank to approve the loan. They got to do it right now. And I was like, okay, man, it's your money, It seems like a lot of steps to do the same thing, and you're going to end up spending money anyway. But maybe she doesn't have the 40 at this moment, and she's willing to pay the finance charge in order to have it this moment. But then again, Gundam was making good money this time. It's like, why couldn't he just pay off the truck, pay it off, and then have the mom pay payments and not a finance charge, or just not pay payments at all, just buy it for 40 and that's it. Not have another step where you're getting a loan for 40 from this person and that person. And it was just like, this was the kind of weird shit that he would bring to me looking for advice. And I was just like, bro, these people are using you. Like, I didn't know they're your family, man. I get it. But it was like, they are really coming at you. Like, you pay their bills, you pay everything. Like, they don't want for anything. But the sister also doesn't work. Like, he was complaining the other day before we had the blowout. He was complaining that she was at the house picking up cans to take to the recycling center. This dude's wearing $2,000 Nikes, and he's got a sister the sister's picking up cans. He doesn't have the sister out there. I'm sure he would like for her to have a job. But I guess when they started seeing, the money coming in, buying bigger Gundam kits, shoes, whatever, new Mustang, shit like that. And then cry to me, oh, $700 is way too much for you, Josh. That's too much. You don't do that much work around here. And I don't like this show anyway. This is a show I hate. So I'm not going to give back the money or anything like that. I'm not going to give back the cash. I'm just going to make a community post and, give you a little bit of credit, a little clout. Here's a link for Josh if y'all want to go visit him. But I'm not doing the show anymore. Well, actually, I'm not even going to say I'm doing the show because I'm too pussy to come out and explain anything. That's why he hadn't said not one word about it since. And I mean, he knows if he says anything, it's just going to look bad because there's no way he can kind of defend his actions. Rather than saying the only defense he has is like doing the woman defense. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know. I don't know business. I didn't know he'd get mad if I totally fucked him over. How was I supposed to know? Yeah, he didn't even leave the stream linked up because after I told the truth, they were like, well, we just can't have him out here telling the truth about us. Even Anus said the other night, she was like, yeah, I'm not going to get on stream and let air out a bunch of private conversations. I said, fuck, what am I supposed to just let y'all fuck me over and not say anything about it? Just take it up the ass and be like, I guess charge it to the game. Oh, well. No, this is fucked. You want to be a producer on a stream, a producer on a show, Anus? Then you got to deal with people like me. People that'll throw a monkey wrench in the whole shit just because I'm more like the Joker than you are. I'll watch it burn just to watch it burn. Because fuck it. These people didn't have enough respect, or they were always wishing for your downfall anyway. Praying, Anus over there for months, y'all, for fucking months. After she was not, her little idea, I don't even know what the idea was, but her stream idea was not chosen. She held that grudge for her entire time. Even to this day, she holds that grudge. And be damned how bad this looks on Gundam. She will get hers by fucking me over because, I don't know, she thought that I would just fucking not say anything about it. So I'm not Gundam. I'm not going to be the guy that you call up and you talk to for fucking 2 hours about your problems with your fucking boyfriend, and the end of the conversation ends up with me sending you money through Cash App. That ain't me, honey. Could never be me. Yeah, I would wonder what DSP would say if he knows all this too. Because there are a lot of parallels, but there's a lot of cap with Gundam when it comes to gatekeeping. And he doesn't beg. He doesn't never beg, but he's like, it's like the opposite of begging. It's like, I'm afraid to acknowledge money, not even ask for money, acknowledge money. It took forever to get him comfortable with doing an ad spot. Forever. And it's just advertising. I don't ever have a problem with advertising. I have a problem with people begging for money to pay bills, because grown men shouldn't do that. You shouldn't use YouTube as your retirement. You shouldn't use it as your daily funds to eat. You should not rely on the kindness of strangers as the foundation of your business. It won't work. And speaking of donations, let me go ahead and check, because I don't want to fuck up like yesterday and not mention someone's tip that just came in. Holy shit. Got us a whopper. $27.50 from Positronics. Their message states, I wanted my first super chat, or one of my first, to be a joke donation of $27.50 for, oh yeah, from Jarrell Barrett QC. Now you can have it as an extra 0.001% on top of your 20. Thanks for the fun window. I appreciate that. In fact, in honor of this super chat, let's play Jarrell. Let's play a little Jarrell. I haven't heard from Jarrell in a while. Let me see if I can pull him up real quick. Oh, Jarrell's. Jarrell. Yeah, okay. This is it. Okay, it's only going to be in mono because they don't have for some odd reason they don't have it in stereo. Okay. So here we go. This is Jarrell's from back in the 80s, and if anyone's seen the original quality content, this is one of the clips that I brought up to Kirsha, and we were having a little dance party when this one got down. This is Jarrell, owner of Jarrell's Hairstylist. Let's check him out.
You girl, to catch the eyes of every guy, every girl. Just 27, you look good in the city. Soft bouncing, bouncing girls. Soft bouncing, bouncing girls. Soft bouncing, bouncing girls. Soft bouncing, bouncing girls. Jarrell Charles is my name. Jarrell Curl is my fame. Look at me, you need to know. I'm the hairdresser who really knows. You're gonna have a curl to catch the eyes of every guy, every girl. Just 27.50, you look good in the city. Soft bouncing, bouncing curl.
Ah, Jarrell's. Jarrell. There we go. Jarrell. Yeah, he's still walking around too. Why didn't he game? Are you talking about Gundam? Why didn't he game? He looks so wet. Yeah, 8 a.m. to midnight. That always got me. That man was that must have been the dope spot because you don't run a business from 8 to midnight doing hair. No one wants their hair done at midnight. But that was probably where they dropped it off. Like, you know, the big D boys come through, they drop their lady off in the front, but they ride around back, get the chickens around back. They got a chicken plate around back. What context did miss for you to play that old commercial? This commercial was one of the clips that I played on the old show, Quality Content with Gundam. And it was funny. We played it during the Kirsha stream, and then we played it when she came back. So it was kind of like an inside joke during those streams. If I could find Jarrell, then I would bring him on. I was actually thinking about hitting up some of my old workmates from Birmingham, from when I was working in the urban style part of Birmingham. They're pretty hardcore gang members. So I think it would be funny for me to interview them while they're out like slinging in the trap. You know, they've told me that they'd do an interview with me. They wouldn't show anything on stream, but they would definitely talk and, you know, act a fool and whatever. But if y'all want something like that, I don't know. If y'all are down to seeing real hood rat shit, I can facilitate a little bit. Hey, Pesk, Anus keeps replying to peeps on Twitter with some video essay exposing you. Yeah, that's the Nicholas Diorio video. It's like, it's hard to explain all my lore just because when I look back on it, there's so much that a lot of people don't know. But the long and short of it is that dude, Nicholas Diorio, and his buddy Tommy, even though we'd worked together on projects and stuff, they said to my face, "Fuck your dead dad," called a lot of inappropriate names and shit like that. And I took it for a little while. I didn't want to, I was mad, but I didn't want to blow up. And it wasn't until I think what really set me off was when I said, I'm not fucking with Tommy no more. He's a fucking piece of shit house husband, whatever. But then I went to Nicholas Diorio and I said, look, dude, I don't have beef with you, but I got it with your boy. So if you still want to do research for videos together, then whatever. So then he flips on me. He's like, no, fuck you and your dead dad. So I was like, all right, y'all want to play that game? Whatever. And on that particular day that I made that rant, I was moving from Louisiana to Florida. And I made it halfway. I made it to like Mississippi. And then I got a call and they said the house that I just sold, a tornado had come through like the next day and a tree fell on it. And it also fell on the next door neighbors, which was this nice old lady that I used to know. So I had to turn around and go back. And in me turning around and going back, the whole time I can't make content at all. I had just begun streaming. And I was talking to some weird German dude on Discord that was in my Discord. And I was like, hey, dude, record this rant. And that's how it started. And then for like an hour and a half, I just sit there and shit on Tommy and what's his name, Nick and all that stuff. But that's what they always bring up. Josh is loud. He said mean shit. He said grease his cheeks. He said he'd burn his house down and build it up 3 times. And if you can't tell that I'm playing up everything, then you're just being full of shit. Because anyone listening to that can see that I'm obviously, while I'm pissed off, I'm still making jokes. So, do I have a Discord? I did, but I got rid of it specifically for this reason. Because what happened was, even though I told the German dude, I said, hey, record this, I'm about to do a rant. Because before I said record this, there was no screaming or anything like that. So when he recorded that, I was playing it up because I knew I was being recorded. Just like how I do now. I would never talk like this in normal speaking. But I played it up because I know people are listening and I'm trying to, not only I'm mad, but I'm also trying to entertain because I want to have fun. Because what else am I going to do? I got like an hour and a half to drive. So, yeah, that's what happened. Pest doesn't want to blow up on people again. I don't want to. But I mean, those guys, the reason why they got it so bad is because I told them specifically what had happened with my father and the lawsuits and everything years before this happened. And Tommy's the kind of person where he is very resentful, kind of like Gundam, but without the talent. And nothing that he ever does really pops off. He has to glom onto someone else. Like, Keem always got to give him money. He doesn't have a job. His wife pays for everything. It's the reason why, they have a home because she has a job and a credit score and all the normal shit while he sits around talking with kids on his Discord and on his stream for like the last 10 years, Doesn't make any money. The most money he's ever made is on Locale Live, and that's just recent. So I don't have respect for someone that's near 50 taking care of kids with a wife and won't go get a job. I just don't. Like, I would not be doing streaming if I needed to pay bills at my job. I just can't. I'm fortunate enough to be able to do this with everyone. So I want to be able to lift people up. If I can help you, if you're an artist, you do music, and you want to be featured on the show, fucking DM me. No one else will talk to you, fucking DM me. I'll put you on the show. If you're entertaining. YouTube, not just a regular person, but if you want to be a creator, you want to be larger, hit me up. Maybe we can figure something out. I'm not looking for new talent anymore. Yeah, Tommy C, the one that's on Locale Live. Like, me and him and Nicholas Diorio have ultra beef. It'll pretty much be the bucket that I have to put Gundam and Anus in now. I don't hate them as much as I hated Tommy and Nick at the time, But at this time, I don't really even have that kind of that hate for them, like the fiery hate. I still enjoy shitting on them because I don't think much of either one. I don't know much about Nick, what he's been doing since that rant. And the only thing I've seen from Tommy is that he went on Locale Live. Because for the last 3 years, I've been, out of the game pretty much. But yeah, that's the lore with that. So if anyone shows that video, and you'll see, because I'm in a black suit, because that picture come from my sister's Facebook during her wedding. They went that far to try to find a picture of her. So if you want to listen to somebody fucking go into someone for an hour straight, check out that video. But check out the unedited version where you don't have Nicholas DeOro talking over it, because it's a much better listen. But it's not leaked audio, it's recorded audio. It's not leaked. It wasn't leaked from anywhere. It's just recorded. So that's another, there's a lot of lies that go on in the commentary community to make people look good. It's all part of the game. Let's take this screen down. What time? We were at 2:20. Where can we DM you? On Twitter at Josh Pescator. And then my last name is spelled Pescatore. Pescator. Again, that's Pescatore. Pescator. And then on Twitter, it's my whole name, Josh Pescator. That's mostly where I do my communicating one-on-one. It's Twitter. I check all comments on the videos too. So if you're watching this or listening to it and you leave a comment, I'm definitely going to read it. So if you have a suggestion, you have a comment, you have a criticism, if you hate me, you want to talk shit, do it all. I don't moderate my chat like that. So whatever, you want to call me a piece of shit, you're loud, you're an asshole. Yeah, I am. But here in this business, you kind of got to be. Because if you don't stand up for your ownership percentage on these things, people will roll right over you. And you've seen it happen right here with Gundam. And Keem tried to do it too. The only reason why I got over on Keem is because I had a secret weapon. It's called a very good attorney. But everyone tries to get over on everyone because there's just so much money to be made in this shit sometimes. And people don't really care about you if they're going to make like $1,000. It's like, he's helping, but it's $1,000. So that's why I'm not taking on any more Padawans. I'm not doing anything specific for a group or a set. It's like I would rather teach people that want to learn. If they want to learn something about YouTube or they want to learn something about finance, I'd rather do that and just have fun. I don't know about y'all. Bro, I did there in the side. Yeah, I got to keep it. I got to keep it in my holster. Because when you're dealing with the kind of lawsuits that I'm dealing with, there's just no other option. I mean, I have been in federal court in one form or another since 2003. So 20 years of lawsuits. Oh, and just recently, one of the lawsuits that I have going through just made a little bit of news. Because I have a lawsuit that's going against a billionaire money launderer, drug dealer kingpin from Venezuela named Sanmark Lopez Bello. And Mr. Sanmark Lopez Bello had upwards around $350 million in the United States financial system in the form of about, I think it was 2 luxury yachts valued at $120 million, property valued at 50, and assets inside bank accounts up to about 200. So a few years ago, the people that I entered into an agreement with called the Stancils, they're another group of families that these men were kidnapped by the FARC in early 2000, but they spent 5 years in the jungle and they actually were able to be rescued. And it's a amazing story. It's called Operation Jaque, Operation Checkpoint in Spanish. And if you ever want to see hear about a spectacular rescue story, check out Operation Jaque. In fact, I'll pull it up. We won't watch the whole thing, but Operation Jaque, what they did was the Colombian army had infiltrated the Colombian Special Forces had infiltrated the communication network for the FARC. They were posing as radio operators, right? Like they captured these radio operators, but then they put their own guys. So they were transmitting messages to the people that had the hostages. And after a few weeks of gaining their trust, they sent a message to the hostage takers saying, I want you to take all the hostages, round them up, and bring them to this specific area. And we're going to take them and bring them to the main FARC commander. So that's what they did. They put everything together. And two of the largest hostage takers took all the hostages, and here comes a helicopter that's coming down. But this helicopter is got Colombian Special Forces on it that are dressed as Red Cross employees, and a cameraman and a man with the microphone is also there to make the ruse, right? So I'm going to show you the video that they take of when the helicopter landed and they were filming, the Colombian army was filming them about to be captured, about to rescue all these hostages. This is called Operation Jaque. And you can read it right here. The daring rescue mission that freed 15 hostages. Okay, this is the day that they go rescue.
A las 11 de la mañana del 2 de julio despegan los helicópteros. Solo uno debe aterrizar en la zona donde esperan más de 300 guerrilleros al mando de dos hombres, alias César y alias Gafas. Luego del desembarco, los falsos periodistas, con su trabajo, logran captar la atención de los jefes del...
See, that's the thing. These guys, they were posing as a journalist and a cameraman. But all the guys that had come out of this helicopter are Colombian Special Forces. So they're about to spring this trap on them.
Grupo. Su misión es confundirlos.
Comandante, ¿podemos aprovechar una sola pregunta? No.
The person that is asking this is the Colombian Special Forces posing as a journalist and a cameraman. That's why you have video of this, because the false cameraman is actually recording this and acting like a cameraman. That man right there is the hostage taker. He is the one that is leading these hostages.
Pregunta, por favor, una sola pregunta, ¿sí?
Los secuestrados, entre ellos los contratistas estadounidenses.
That guy right there, that's one of the people that I'm in the lawsuit with. His name is Keith Stansel. He was mad when this happened too. He didn't want to talk to the camera. He didn't know that they were Army, but in his book, he later remarked about, I noticed their shoes after I said it, and I was like, there's no cameraman that would have Army-issued, Special Forces Army-issued shoes. So then he knew that they were real, they were Colombian Special Forces.
Estadounidenses tampoco sospechan. Desesperado, luego de 10 años en cautiverio, el teniente Malagón insiste en enviar un mensaje.
This guy right here has been held captive for a decade, and he actually comes up to the camera because he wants to tell his family he's still alive.
No podemos, pero... Sí, escúcheme. Tengo solamente una cosa que decir. He estado encadenado durante 10 años. Yo soy el teniente Malagón del glorioso Ejército Nacional de Colombia.
Para sostener el engaño, los secuestrados son maniatados. En ese momento, todos desconocen que es.
This woman right here is Ingrid Betancourt. She would go on later to run for the presidency of Colombia. She didn't win, but she's pretty famous.
Están a punto de ser rescatados.
There's Keith Stansel. a friend of mine, Mark Gonzalez, is the guy that lives down here in Florida that I know. He was the other person. I think that's him right there in the green hat.
Uno a uno, los 15 secuestrados suben al helicóptero mientras la segunda nave sobrevuela el sitio. Son momentos de tensión.
So they're putting the hostages or the kidnappers and hostages. They're all going into this helicopter, which is supposed to be a Red Cross helicopter. Yeah, she was French Colombian. So she was actually in Colombia during that time to campaign for the presidency, and her aide were taken captive, and they spent 5 years in the Colombian jungle.
César, guerrillero encargado de cuidarlos, trata de subir a la nave armado. Uno de los hombres lo convence que es una misión humanitaria y de entregar. Uno de los hombres.
It is not confirmed, but it's been said that this man right here, Cesar, was one of the men that was holding my father. Now, we don't know that for sure because at this time, it's 2008, and my dad was kidnapped and murdered in 97. So it's almost a decade later.
Lo convence que es una misión humanitaria y de entregar su pistola. Son 22 minutos que se hacen largos hasta que el piloto despega. En el aire, tal como se había planeado en tierra, reducen a los jefes guerrilleros y le comunican al grupo la noticia.
Now they know they're free. They captured all of the guys that came with them, and now they tell all the hostages that they're actually Colombian Special Forces and they're going home.
Ya en tierra, se confirma el éxito de un operativo milimétrico en el que sin disparar armas fueron rescatados los 15 secuestrados. Ingrid Betancourt, los militares Juan Carlos Bermeo, Raimundo Malagón, José Marulanda, William Pérez, Erasmo Romero, José Miguel Arteaga, Amaón Flores, y los policías Julio César Buitrago, Armando Castellanos, Vianey Javier Rodríguez, John Jairo Durán, y los 3 estadounidenses.
These are the 3 men that I'm in the lawsuit with.
Kit Stansel, Mark González y Thomas House, que fueron recibidos por el embajador William Brownfield.
It's a very good story. I don't see why they haven't made it into a movie yet. I think they've tried a few times, but it's a very inspirational story. They had to stay out in those in the jungle for 5 years, and it was it's hell on earth for what they described. What's the lawsuit about? The lawsuit as now, I sued the FARC, which is a terrorist organization, and I also sued Chiquita Brands, the banana company, for facilitating terrorism. The Chiquita Brands lawsuit ended in a confidential settlement that I can't discuss. The FARC lawsuit ended up in us winning summary judgment. It's one of the first times that anyone has sued and won against a terrorist organization. But the problem with suing a terrorist organization is they don't have a bank account or assets. So what you got to do is you got to tie them to the FARC, drug running, money laundering, anything like that. So once you find somebody like San Mark Lopez that would take all this drug money and launder it through the U.S., then you can point at him and say, he's part of the cartel. We can seize all his shit. And basically, that's where the lawsuit starts. So for the last 4 years, he's been fighting to get back, X amount of dollars. It's in the 8 figures. And just recently, he was arrested in his home country of Venezuela because he stole $6 billion from their state-run petroleum company. So Maduro didn't like that. You can steal a little bit, but you can't steal that much. So Maduro had him arrested. And probably he's going to die in prison. So that means that he'll never be able to interact in the lawsuit again. And he's even a fugitive. He was a fugitive for the entire lawsuit. He's been a fugitive. He's never stepped foot in the United States. Anytime that he's ever contacted us, it's always been from a Zoom call, but he's not on the call. It's his representative from Venezuela, which is a total fucked up way of doing a lawsuit, especially since we're United States citizens. But hopefully this appeal in the 11th Circuit Court will go through and we'll finally dead this lawsuit that's been going on for fucking 5 years. 6 billion US. Because they pay for their oil in the dollar. They don't pay for it in the peso or whatever Venezuela uses. Not RICO anti-terror. This is in the human rights version of statutes, and it's listed under the Anti-Terrorism Act, the ATA, which in and of itself is part of the Patriot Act. The boulevards, that's what it is. Thank you. But yeah, the little stories like this, like I'm pretty good for little tales like this because I remember a lot of stuff. And since I've been working on these lawsuits, like as a plaintiff, but I also have been helping for many years after I learned how the law works, how to structure, a briefing, how to present something to the court, all that kind of little paralegal stuff. So now when I read shit, it's real quick. But it took a long time. But I know my case inside and out. So I don't have to look up a lot of shit. All oil is calculated in US dollars. Until recently, the Saudi Arabia was always spending US dollars. But now I think they're going to be using the yuan? Is it the Chinese yuan? I don't know. It's not. They're doing another BRICS. Yeah. BRICS, baby. But yeah, it's one day I'll tell y'all the story. I'll sit down and have some assets that I can show you on stream. Video. There's a video that one of the guys that works at the Young Turks, he did a video after we settled with Chiquita about it, and I think he talked about my dad. Chiquita. Fark. Yeah, this one right here. This is from the Young Turks about 6 years ago after we won. They covered it right here. Chiquita profits big time off of terror. Mike Papantonio and Peter discuss a groundbreaking settlement between Chiquita International and the families who wanted the company held responsible for the deaths of their relatives in Colombia. Chiquita previously pleaded guilty to giving money to Colombian terrorist groups.
This is a story where Chiquita International reached a settlement with families of 6 Americans who were killed by the Colombia FARC terrorist group.
Yeah, there's a blast from the past.
Yeah, it is. It sounds a lot like some of the stories we've heard, whether it's Chevron, Shell, some of the big companies that have been caught up in this very same kind of thing. But here, in this case, you had Chiquita report that they paid well in excess of $200,000. Mm-hmm. Now, the problem is when they made the first payment, Chiquita makes this first payment to this terrorist group. It's FARC, their terrorist group. They understand that what they want to do is use that terrorist group.
Yeah, talking about Saudi Arabia. Yeah. That was a shocker. Big shocker.
To control people, citizens that are objecting to the way that Chiquita is doing business there in Colombia. Mm-hmm. In other words, they're hiring their own thugs. They're hiring murderers. They know who FARC is.
Right,
muscle. It's muscle. They're paying for muscle. Now,
see, that's what they were trying to argue in court. Chiquita was saying, "Oh my God, they were extorting us. They're a mafia. They just wanted money from us. We couldn't do anything." Well, that doesn't hold up when you continuously pay them, and even some of them are on the payroll. And then after we started doing discovery, we found a lot of documents with their own lawyers expressing extreme concern about these payments. And one of the best quotes ever from a lawyer was like written in the side of this, discovery paper. It said like, it had it circled in red. It said, felony. It had felony, like felony 1, felony 2, felony 3. Please do not do any more payments. These are felonies. And the CEO returns. He says, "This is the cost of doing business in Colombia."
the first, what is your take on it? I mean, first of all, this isn't close to being enough. I mean, there needs, here again, how do you pay for murder and there be nothing more serious than this? Give me your take on it.
It was a long period of time that this story's been kind of leaking out for over a decade that Chiquita paid close to $2 million over time, where they were funding FARC.
1.7 million over time. But
over time, that $1.7 million, and this is in the infancy of this organization, the beginning when they were cash starved. So what did they do with that money over time? They bought more ammo, they bought more guns, they better arm themselves, and they just increased their operations. So
that was one of the big things. Is like Chiquita gave them cash influxions during a time where they were really on the ropes. So without the money from Chiquita, they probably wouldn't have been as big as they were. But since they did get these millions of dollars from Chiquita, they were able to expand. And this expansion included my father's kidnapping.
They fed that organization until they started to go in. And I think it was, like you said, it was 5 missionaries and a geologist kidnapped them right out of their own home. And what was gut-wrenching.
The geologist is my dad.
I mean, this is back in the early 90s. This mother was 23 years old. They barged into her house. 2 young kids were asleep. They dragged one of the missionaries out, handcuffed them.
That's not me. That's the 5 missionary story. That's 2 different stories, but those families were inside of our lawsuit as well.
Took them off into the jungle, never saw them again. And what did? They made ransoms. They made ransoms because Chiquita's right there paying. Nobody paid in this instance. The guy ends up getting executed. Never sees him again. My heart went out to this family. The mother said it was the hardest time was Christmas. Every year, Christmas time, the girls would ask that their dad would come home, and they never got any remains. And here's Chiquita behind the scenes paying money, a lot of money, over time, funding this organization.
Okay. Here's what I think is really...
I appreciate that, Nugs, for real. It was a rough time. It's gotten a lot easier, but it's still like, it'll never leave. Like, my whole digital footprint is wrapped up in 2 things. It's wrapped up in these lawsuits and my YouTube career. Like, even, I'll tell you a quick story. When I moved to Florida, I was looking for an Airbnb to stay. And the dude, I was like, here, I'll pay for this Airbnb up front, like 3 months up front. He's like, okay, but I got to do a background check on you. So sure. Does a background check on me. He's like, we can't accommodate you. I said, well, why is that? He's like, because of your Twitter account. I was like, fuck. Thank you, Cool Cat Glenn. Oh, Rockman Raiden, your dad works in Nintendo? For real? That's really interesting. Yeah, you don't ever get over a family member murdered. It gets easier, but you don't. I mean, I think about it every day. Think about it every day because I want to, but also a lot of the times it gets brought back up because of the lawsuit. And you do that for so many years. After a while, you just start to become numb to the whole thing, to where when you explain your tragedy, it's almost like explaining a news story because you're just so detached from it at this point. Yeah, Twitter screwed me over. In fact, they screwed me over when Chris Hansen got my account banned. Chris Hansen personally got my account banned, along with Tipster, John Swan, some other dude. But he personally got our accounts banned because we were working on that exposed video back in 2019, 2020. He knew the leader of the trust and safety on Twitter, and he gave him our 3 names and fucking whack, whack, whack. In fact, we were working together at the time at night. So we saw each one of our Twitters go down. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, the Chris Hansen. Sit down. Have a seat, Chris Hansen. That dude. Because before I stopped, I was working on my own news network. I don't know if many people remember this. It was called PNN. This was right after I left Drama Alert, but right before the pandemic. And I had found John Swan, which was this young kid that could edit and he was Australian, had a really nice voice. And he did well, but I didn't know that he was a liar, and he got in trouble lying about, I think it was Dream. I think that was who he lied about to like some little, it was weird. It was some really weird thing, but the video that was produced out of my shop ended up being this one right here. The Chris Hansen from TV King. Is it that one? Yeah, that's it. The Chris Hansen from TV King to YouTube Con Man. He changed the title, but this one right here, 3.4 million views. And this entire video
Chris Hansen, commonly known online,
was basically researched and produced in my shop, but it's on John Swan's channel without my name or credit, because this is yet another instance of a YouTuber fucking over support staff. So,
is the guy who baits criminals and puts them behind bars. He gained quite a bit of notoriety on television in the early 2000s for being a bastion of justice, fearless and daring. That is, until he was fired, and sued, and arrested. So his career in mainstream television had disappeared.
So, I mean, this is just, I'm just going to play it for a second, but these are the kind of things that I was producing back then. I was looking at news a lot more. I wasn't doing so much comedy. But I got burnt out on it because doing news on YouTube is not a profitable thing. Yes, Chris Hansen has an extremely sketchy career, and he is a fucking flagger. He is a fucking flagger, just like Anus. So he's a flaggot. But I think I'm getting close to the end of the stream, y'all. Do y'all want to see anything else? Watch anything else? I'm a little burnt on shitting on Gundam. I kind of just wanted to be over with. So I don't really feel like releasing any more of the DMs. There's a lot more, but this gives you a really good idea of how he really acts, you know, when the cameras aren't on. You know, look, I mean, here's I'll pick a random one. Here's a random one. Day before my birthday. He says, the anus guilt trip today. So, oof. Said, I just wanted her opinion on a thumb and got hit with the live show again. This is fucking May, chat. May. We're in our 5th month of production. And she is still salty. Still salty. But even after all that, the man had one little glimpse of hope. He said, I'm going to have to find another artist. May the 15th. He's having such a problem with anus at this point. He actually says, I want to find a new artist. But he doesn't. He doesn't. He's trapped. And he can never leave. He's like a cartoon. He's the cartoon and she is control of him. She has control of his cartoon. Here's a bottle of Cristal. My mother hated this. Now I have to drink it. He has to drink the Cristal. His mom hated it. May the 12th. Next time he's talking about eating tuna out of a bag. Remember this picture. Yeah, she's for real puppeting him. She's the marionette. Because for real, like people out there that own a business or work partnering with people in a business, would you allow one of your contracted employees to treat you like this? Or would you tell them to fuck off and fire them? Yeah, she's called me a liar and narcissistic, and I'm showing every chat. She has not shown one chat. The only thing she has shown is she links a video that Nicholas DiOrio made 3 years ago. Like, what good's that? You want to show everybody that I can shit on people? Well, why don't you just look at what I'm doing to you? Why don't you put up one of the recent streams? It's got just the same amount of fucking fire. Maybe not the same. I was pretty mad that day. But it still got fire in it. So, I mean, this is pussies. Gundam's never going to... I don't even know if he's addressed this. Some people said he was on FNT today. I don't know. I didn't check it out. Not really down for checking that out. Not today. Here's another one. We'll just run through a couple of them. A couple of choice quotes. Gundam, time to do what everyone else does. Nerd and drinker just grow every live show is a loss of subs for me. I don't know what I'm talking about before it goes live. See, this is on my birthday, by the way. They don't touch edgy shit. The odds are that's why no one is grabbing me for anything. Said they bring on 6 people, 6 fan bases a show. Says subject matter. Drinker's show is now 70% randos. So, I mean, even the guys that he looks up to, he's still shitting on. So I just don't get it. I don't know what this dude wants. What do you want, Gundam? For real. Sorry, chat. Had to blow my nose real quick. Christian, what's going on? Hi, Pass. Glad to join the live. It's past 2 a.m. here in Germany. I usually watch the VOD. Love your work. Thank you. Thank you so much, Christian. If you're watching this VOD or listening to this in the car, congratulations. You've made it. Congratulations, my friend. Okay, let's close up shop, but let's talk with everyone, see what they're doing. Captain, Drinker brings on small creators all the time and tries to lift them up. Yeah, I like that. I like the people that do that, creators that do that. When we interviewed him for quality content, he was very nice. He answered my questions about production, even though Gundam was like, oh, that's that shit. I wanted to ask because that's what I'm interested in. But he was very accommodating and very nice. And I get why Piers Morgan and everyone has him on, because he's an author. He's been in the system. He's been in YouTube, blown up in YouTube the last few years. It's a real dude. I bet you he doesn't shit on Gundam in his DMs. What else we got? Nugs. There's nothing wrong with trying to give small creators the ups. Yeah. How do you think Gundam got the ups? No promotion allowed for his guests. There it is. Open bar is way better than FNT. I think they're about the same, you know. Different strokes, different folks. Sometimes FMT gets a little bit overbearing with just the amount of people. But to tell you the truth, I haven't watched a lot of open bars since I started doing quality content. So I have to check it back out now. Drinker and the others have a growth mindset who don't see the pie as being fixed. Yeah. Just because you're doing well doesn't mean that makes me doing bad. A rising tide lifts all boats. I didn't understand why Gundam never subscribed to that. He hated, you know, giving other people just the littlest bit of extra attention. You know, I don't want to give them the raid or the redirect, because what have they ever done for me? Like when he said to Camelot. I'm like, because that helps everyone out. Why would I give you a redirect after the stream, Josh? That's my audience. And what if my audience doesn't like you? Well, then they just turn it off, Gundam. They're not going to fucking come to your house and burn it down. I don't know, bros. It's just a really weird, small-minded mindset. Yeah, it's support the ecosystem or the ecosystem is going to fucking eat you. What about when he needed support with the Pokemon thing? He was only about what? I don't know how many subs he had right around there, like 300,000. He was big, but middle. When everybody showed up and showed out for him, though, he was the toast of the town. But he won't reciprocate that. And that's what breaks my heart about him, because if he just let in that little bit of love and like positivity, then maybe he could move ahead and not be stuck where he's at, or thinks that he's stuck. I don't think the dude's stuck. When you go from making 30,000 to 6 figures in the matter of like a year or two, you're not stuck, bro. You're good. Yes, he believes he is entitled to success. True.
Acceptable.
But I'm not going to shit on the dude every stream. Couldn't do it. I think I'm going to leave it at this stream, and we're just going to move on, guys. So next, I'm not going to be here tomorrow for a stream. I am going to see the Blue Angels again. Saw them this morning. They flew through the building, through the condo buildings again. It was fucking excellent. I'll show y'all some video next week. I will be streaming on Wednesday, maybe Monday, maybe. I don't know. Kirsty should be asking me for advice. I should be asking her. The fuck are you talking about? She is the one over there blowing up. I mean, she don't need my advice. She's got it. She's got it. Tony Soprano, you entitled to shit. You're entitled to shit. And why is that?
I'm the motherfucking fucking one who calls the shots. I'm the motherfucking fucking one who calls the shots.
Yeah. Get it. Tell him, DSP.
How about this? Banned. Gone. Forever.
Okay, what y'all want to hear tonight to close it out? We'll do chat choice. Chat choice tonight. How do y'all want to close it out? Do y'all want some hard archive? Do y'all want some snort wave? I disagree with this statement, Master Gawa. She is very business minded and business savvy. I've seen her behind the scenes. She is about her game, about her business. We did Pimpzilla in the beginning, Poetic. I can't do him twice. Meerkat, I do want to give my boy Meerkat some love. We got one for Hard Archive. MMA is not super gay. I like that song. It's not one of my favorites, though. The Wolverine doll. You got one for Wolverine? Well, I mean, everyone could use the back end help. I just don't want to be in the back end anymore. I just can't. Pimpzilla better want to play. It's okay. I've tried it. It's all right. Yeah, we'll do Meerkat. We'll close out this week with some Meerkat. Let me break this down real quick. But I appreciate y'all coming out tonight and doing this stream over again. I hope people just get I get through to them that I'm sorry that quality content ended like this. I didn't want it to end like this. I didn't really want to shit on Gundam and release all these messages, but my hand was really forced because I think I was the copyright thing was merely like an excuse to kind of silence me. That's what I think. But could be wrong. Either which way, those streams are gone forever. No one will ever be able to see them again. So can't cry over copywritten or copy-struck content. Let's do some snorty wavy. Any particular snort wave tonight? Yeah, you're right, SPC. I do have the right to explain my side of things. And I really wanted them to come on and discuss it with me in front of an audience. And we can just be real with everyone. We want to play a character. But that won't happen. He's too afraid. And she's too stupid. And she's lying. She didn't have anything. If she had a screenshot of me making fun of her dad, I'm sure she would have put it up by now. How gout walk? You want gout walk tonight? Is that cool? We got a gout walk? All right, cool. Gout walk. The original or okay. This is the remix of the original. Okay, here we go. Dark Side Drill, Gout Walk. All right, guys. Oh, my voice is so fucked, y'all. Have a good night. I'll see y'all next week. Remember to like the stream before you leave. We had about 150 people, 170 people here tonight. Before you go, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, which I'm pretty sure everyone has, leave a link, subscription, and a comment. This stream will be staying up. I really appreciate everybody for coming out and listening to me bitch for 3 hours. Hopefully we can have more fun next week. We'll just leave this chapter. We'll close this chapter and walk our separate ways. But right now, we're going to do a little gout walk. Y'all take it easy.
Why can't I touch of red meat or shellfish because I have gout. Gout is a disease that makes my acid levels much higher than most people's. And so if I eat certain foods, my acid level elevates, skyrockets, and then I get all giant swelling and incredible pain in my joint.
Hey. Who? Gal walk. Little chin, little door, that shrimp make the gout hot. I can feel it in my toes, let's go, it's the gal walk. Stomach cold, so froze, you know I got the gout rocks. Take a 20-minute break, I'ma hit him with a gout walk. Sushi daddy, I'ma tear it up. Oh shit, here comes another flare up. DoorDash me a little aloe vera, a bowl of penne and a side of marinara. I could introduce you to the gout. Fatty foods every time when I go out. Bitch, I'm too fast, why I pass out? Where the cherry juice at? Need a glass now. Yeah. Gotta go and see the doc. Man, it's like a couple blocks. Hold up, another $100 shot. Now I'ma hit him with a walk. Hey, what walk? Gal walk. Little gin, little door, that shrimp make the gout hot. I can feel it in my toes, let's go, it's the gal walk. Stomach cold, so froze, you know I got the gout rocks. Take a 20-minute break, I'ma hit him with a gout walk. Little gin, little door, that shrimp make the gout hot. I can feel it in my toes, let's go, it's the gout walk. Stomach cold, so froze, you know I got the gout rocks. Take a 20-minute break, I'ma hit him with a gout walk.
In medical school, we learned that gout is the king's